You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Good morning, my little minions. How is everybody doing today? It is the Pete Sheppard Show. It's Tuesday, July 9th. How is everybody doing this morning here in lovely Fort Myers? Not so lovely this morning. If you stepped outside, it'd probably last about 10 seconds because it's very difficult to breathe. It's also dark and a little gloomy. You might get some rain and thunderstorms earlier than expected. Hey, I want to say good morning to everybody. And right away, I want to wish our friends, if anybody's listening in Texas, in the Houston and Galveston area, God bless you. I saw some horrible video this morning of the damage that was done from the hurricane, and hopefully everybody is going to be okay in due time. I mean, that area, I'd say the last 7 years has really gotten hit hard with some major storms. But thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here across Coastal Sports Network video platform. Angel Martinez is in the house. You can also check us out on Twitter, on X, on my at PShep326. Follow me on Facebook and Broad Street South. Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course on Sports Radio 102.9. Huge show lined up for you today. Former Red Sox player turned broadcaster Lou Maloney will join me at 8:30 this morning. We'll talk about the state of the Red Sox and some Celtic stuff as well. Rick Grossbeck spoke yesterday with Chris Mannix. We'll show you that video. My buddy John Meter-Perrell will join us at 9 o'clock or 9:05 a.m. talking some BC football. He sat down with head coach Bill O'Brien on his podcast. So we'll get a synopsis of that. And at 9:30 a.m., and I'll tell you, I'm raring to go. College football can't get here fast enough. We'll talk with Miami Hurricane, longtime play-by-play voice, I think going on his 35th or 36th year. Joe Zagacki will join me. Everybody via video today at 9:30 a.m. And Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes doing some unbelievable stuff. His recruiting class, the stuff he's got going on this year with Cam Ward taking over at quarterback. And if you missed his spring game, and I think it means more when you see these big-time D1 schools play spring games. It's not like you're playing 7-on-7 outside. Yeah, and Cam Ward was unbelievable in the spring game this year. So we'll talk all things Miami Hurricanes at 9:30, the final segment of the day. But lots going on. We got Novak Djokovic's tirade against the fans yesterday. Somewhat of a wussy tennis take on some of the fans that he thought maybe were booing, but I don't think they were. But we'll play the cut. We got some NBA sound for you, NFL news for you as well, including Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill. It reportedly that the Miami Dolphins looking to re-sign both of them to big-time contract extensions, which tells me a huge salary cap hit is about to happen for the Miami Dolphins, but not totally unexpected, especially when you look at Tua's numbers compared to Trevor Lawrence's numbers. And Trevor just got a $278 million deal. Tua's numbers are better. It's flat. They're going by numbers. If that's what a lot of the stuff is based on, that's happening. There's a little gnat that has been in this house that I cannot kill. And I feel like at night I get bit on my arm, and it's aggravating. Anyway, we say good morning to Angel Martinez. Oh, we do. Good morning, Angel. How are you?
And a good morning to you, Pete. I know all about those stinking little gnats. One is because they're down in D.C., the baseball team, not the people, before people think I'm insulting them. But it's the same way, too. There's one here flying around the studio, and it's because they're so freaking ridiculously tiny. It's the same way you almost feel like you're slapping your face.
You can see me do this. I'm just because I'm trying to kill it. Oh, bastard.
It's Nats church time.
It's crazy. I know yesterday you said we had a little echo on the app, so I'm thinking maybe I'm using new headphones today sometimes, so I don't know if we can.
It's good.
It's good. I think it was the headphones. You know what's weird is that when I have these headphones in, instead of the earbuds, I can't hear myself through it, but I hear and see everybody else fine. When I have the earbuds in, the sound comes through, But then there was an echo on the app, I guess, yesterday, but we fixed that. And plus, I'm happy to say that by tomorrow, I will have a new laptop that is going to be strictly for the show. So yesterday also, Angel, knock on, didn't have to refresh once, which is good.
That was nice. That was nice.
So I'm in college football mode today. I'm decked out in my Miami Hurricane gear. I cannot wait. Some interesting college football news. The Georgia Bulldogs signed a kid, Angel. He's 6'11", 283 pounds. He was going to play basketball. And, Kirby Jedi mind tricked into coming to Georgia to play football. But you can't miss him. One of the tallest players in the country. We'll tell you more about him in a little bit. Anyway, the number to call here is always to call or text 727-858-6650. Angel Martinez has done an unbelievable job. And I just want to go through technically again what you have done, what the listeners can do, because you have made it so easy. Even on Instagram, it just says call the show. Just hit a button. You don't even have to dial it. Just hit the button, call the show. So if you could explain once again your awesomeness and how you're putting this together and how easy is it for the listeners on all the video platforms, and to call the number if you must. Call. Who called? 727-858-6650. So take it away for a second.
Yeah, one thing, it's funny because it's some people say they don't like to call in because they don't like to hear their own voice. And if, the old way, and it's still the way some people do it now, where they'll turn up the volume inside the car and they call in the station because they want to hear themselves. So that's kind of one of the things that people don't want to. But no, on the, you guys visit sr1029thegame.com. You guys see it. It's always on the screen all day long, or at least all morning long. It's up there. But if you guys go down there on the landing homepage, you guys will see where you can download the absolutely brand new revamped app, where once you download it, and it'll give you like simple instructions. You'll pretty much, if you're on your Android and or your Apple device, it'll tell you to add it to your home screen on your device. And then you also turn on the notifications. Therefore, if there's a push notification, and I don't send push notifications every single minute like other people do. Oh. If it's something important, something changed, there's an update, whatever case may be.
I'm on the toilet. Push.
Yeah, exactly. I remember people used to do that all the time. But the nice part about it is that you can call the show from there. You can text the show from there. You can actually watch the show right from the app. So if you're out in the doctor's office or something else and you just want to watch us, you can do it. And then you can also listen to the show with the radio web player that's there as well. So you can, everything that you need to stay in contact with us, it'll be there. Soon there'll be the Twitter feed will be up there. So if we put something out, you guys will be able to see it live up on the app as well. So it's literally your all in one stop, the way the app works. So download it. I know we asked you guys to download the old one. The old one will be gone here in about 4 days now. There's a countdown for the old one to be gone, but spend my time. I got one more day to spend with it today. To kind of tweak it just a little bit to make sure it works flawlessly, because the other one we used to happen was a lot of complaints I used to get where people would hit play to listen to the shows, and then for some reason it would stop and they would have to hit play for a second time. Now, at least now when you hit play, it doesn't automatically start. I enabled it so it doesn't automatically start, because I know some people don't like for things to automatically start when they put a program on. So you have to physically hit play, but it'll continue on playing, unlike the old one. So there's still some meta work and crap I have to do with it. And then after that, we'll be all shine and polished up. But yeah, it's all brand new. Awesome. Took a lot of time to design and build, but hopefully everybody will continue to download it. I know Gas Pump Guy, I haven't heard from him unless he's on vacation. And Jerry from Riley, they probably think they were gone, but obviously they haven't realized that you have to download the new app.
Awesome, man. Great stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. How's the weather up where you are today in Tampa?
We started with storms. Right now, looking out the studio window, it's still kind of like overcast, but it's hot. It is really hot, which is fine with me. But some people still complain about it, which I have not a clue.
Rick says on the text line, "Don't worry, I still here." Good, Rick. Love you.
What's up, Rick?
All right, Angel, if we could, let's start with some NFL news on Total Sports Rip. And by the way, let me just get this out of the way right now. For the best articles and audio, only one source that provides everything you need, 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Rep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. And speaking of kicker stories, in just a little bit, I'm going to give you some examples of disgusting world records that why people have them, I don't know, but they are disgusting. I don't want Angel to give it away. I gave him a sample right before the show started, and it was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. All right. Meanwhile, let's get to some NFL news. Yesterday on NFL Live, Jeff Darlington, who covers the Miami Dolphins, talked about what's going on with Tua Tagovailoa and wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Cut number 2.
All right. Give me a second. I was trying to message someone back here who is a part of this. Cut number 2. Let me bring it up. The NFL. Dun, 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 dun. Cut number 2. And again, cut number 2. Wow. You don't want to play nice today? Hang on. Here it comes.
Yeah, we've got a couple negotiations going. Yeah, we've got a couple negotiations going on right now, Ryan, that we can discuss here, starting with Tua Tagovailoa, of course. That is the most pressing. That is the one that the team continues to try to get done with Tua. Now, the last time I was on air reporting about this, I had mentioned that we weren't quite to the point where market value had been reached in the eyes of Tua Tagovailoa to the point where they could reach a deal. And while I can't say that there's anything imminent in terms of a deal as we inch closer to training camp, I can at least tell you that there have been active negotiations since then. They continue to try to get this done with a very amicable approach. It does not feel like this is going sideways by any means. I still think we'll have to wait and see if it gets done before the season. Tyreek Hill, this is not something that is really that crazy or pressing either, but he is entering the third year of a 4-year deal worth $120 million. He was the one when he came over to the Dolphins who reached that $30 million mark. Now, Tyreek Hill and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, have very nicely hinted at the fact that they would like to get another deal done. They have seen this wide receiver market go pretty crazy in recent years, really topping him. 3 players topping his mark just this offseason alone. So I'm not saying that this is going anywhere, that this is going to be any drama. It's been very optimistic tones, but still something to keep on our radar if perhaps the Dolphins could get something done to make Tyreek Hill a little happier too.
Huh.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, you can pull up, but I'm not going to do it because it's bored. Just pull up Trevor Lawrence's numbers and Tua Tagovailoa's numbers. Tua's numbers are better. They simply are. So, I mean, he's at least at that level. I know it's interesting, Angel, too. Guess who Miami opens up against at home on September 8th at 1 o'clock?
Ravens?
No, Jacksonville.
Whoa.
So we'll see. So we'll see if Tua gets paid by then, or at least Trevor Lawrence type of money. I got to believe that's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. And then they want to, I think it's smart for Miami to get them both locked and loaded right now, meaning Tua and Tyreek Hill. They want to get both of those guys in. Yeah, so Miami's opens up home against first 2 games are at home. Of course they are. Home against Jacksonville, home against Buffalo, then at Seattle, and home against Tennessee, then at the Patriots. That's the first 5. But we shall see. The irony of Tua maybe getting Trevor Lawrence money, then the 2 squaring off on the opening weekend of the NFL is interesting to me. Meanwhile, also interesting if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Yesterday, breaking news, and I was watching this live. If we could go to cut number 3 there. Cameron Sutton in trouble with the National Football League.
Breaking news from Adam Schefter to start NFL Live. The Steelers cornerback Cameron Sutton was suspended without pay for the first 8 games of the 2024 regular season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. It was announced today. The NFL investigated the March incident involving Sutton and determined he violated the policy. Sutton, of course, will be eligible for reinstatement on October 29th following the Steelers' Week 8 game against the New York Giants. So, Jeff, I want to start with you. Remind us what led to the NFL making this decision with Cam Sutton.
Laura, there is quite a bit to unpack here. This is no surprise to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but certainly we can take you back several months when Cam Sutton was actually playing for the Detroit Lions, and he had an arrest warrant issued for domestic violence. allegations. He entered into a pre-trial investigation. We should also point out that he actually was several weeks before he turned himself into police. During that span, the Lions did release him. He entered into that pre-trial diversion program that allowed him to settle the case, at which point the Pittsburgh Steelers then brought him back, a place where he played for 7 seasons. So the Pittsburgh Steelers were preparing for the suspension when they did sign him to that 1-year deal. They do expect him to eventually play some slot cornerback, but the Steelers, during their OTAs and minicamp, were working other players into those positions to make sure that they are ready when the season comes around. So certainly an impact on the team, but not a surprise for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, Adam Schefter, Jeff, just tweeted Cameron Sutton's discipline is final. He's not appealing, as you see there on the screen.
Yep, and he's eligible to return, Steeler fans, October 29th, following the Steelers' Week 8 game against the New York Giants. So the NFL said the investigation of the incident found that Sutton violated the personal conduct policy, as you heard, and he will not appeal. He was with the Lions at the time of his arrest, but Detroit, remember, released him after learning of the warrant of his arrest. And then Sutton was 1 year into a 3-year, $33 million deal signed in 2023. He started every game in his long season in Detroit, got 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 50 tackles. The warrant was issued March 7th after police in Florida responded to a call at a house where Sutton allegedly battered a woman before fleeing the scene. And he had signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers last month. So anyway, not great news for the Pittsburgh Steelers or head coach Mike Tomlin, but we'll see what happens there. Interesting text from Tim, a.k.a. Dopey. Cowboys need to sign Lamb and Parsons in that order. Dak can go wherever he wants. Now, come on, Tim. I get that. You want... So you're also, Mr. Cowboy fan, you're done with Dak Prescott, and who do you want? They can sign those guys that you named. That's great. Now, who's going to be your starting quarterback? Cooper Rush or Trey Lance, I think?
Yeah, really.
Is that who you want to be your quarterback over Dak Prescott? I don't know. You need to explain yourself more. I understand wanting to sign Lamb and Rush. I get it, but come on.
The only problem that the Cowboys have had, obviously as an Eagles fan, we've talked about a bunch, and even for the Patriots for that matter too, but the bigger problem, and here comes my favorite part of the morning, the zingers, also known as the landscaping crew. The Dak, for some reason, was like Andy Reid when he was in Philly. Andy could win division championship after division championship, couldn't finish up and win the Super Bowl, but obviously he's won 3 now in KC. Dak is almost the same way too, where he can't just complete for whatever odd reason winning it in Dallas because Green Bay's been their daddy for the last 3 years, the last 3 seasons. So I understand the frustration level when it comes to Dak, but there's not really anybody out there at this time of the year that you can grab and replace Dak with. So unfortunately,
who do you want to get? I mean, we're going to get Dak Prescott is going to. Dak Prescott, I still think he's going to get his money. I don't know if Jerry Jones has an alternative plan here. You know, Jerry's being Jerry because his ego is so inflated. It's absolutely ridiculous. Always seems to be putting himself ahead of the team. Look, Dak Prescott's going to get his money. If it's not from Dallas, it's going to be from somebody else. And I don't know what. The longer that Jerry Jones waits, the price is going to keep going up and up and up. Especially if Tua ever comes up with some kind of like over the top deal, like better than Trevor Lawrence's, it's just going to hurt him more because Dak his agent's going to want more money, and rightly so. And I don't know what Jerry Jones is waiting for, but we say this every couple of years with him. I know you want to sign Parsons and Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. I get that. Of course you do. But what's the alternative to Dak Prescott right now? Who are you going to get?
That's just it. You're not going to get much of anything. And let's not forget either, it was just a couple of weeks ago when we mentioned here on the show that obviously Mike McCarthy now has issues with Jerry Jones, and who knows if that's gone away. So the saga with the Cowboys have already started about 2 weeks prior, I think, to the draft. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the Cowboys this season because that team, until they learn how to play together as a team, and not saying that they don't, But that means that you have to have the GM, you have to have the head coach, you have to have the ownership, all in accordance. And everybody knows that Jerry Jones is everything minus head coach. And when he wants to, he'll walk down to his own field and play head coach. So it's just going to be an interesting mess. By the way, did you also hear about the Vikings rookie?
I meant to get this to yesterday, and I apologize for not. I was just going to talk about that right now. You know, Kyrie Jackson, that was horrible.
Yeah.
The rookie cornerback, he drafted him in the first round, and 2 former college football players were all killed in a car crash the other night, July 5th, against in Maryland. He was 24 years old. He died after a 3-car crash that occurred at 3:14 a.m. Saturday in Prince George's County. Isaiah Hazel and Anthony Litton Jr., the 2 former players were his high school teammate of Jackson's, teammates were also killed in the crash. Hazel, 23, played at Maryland and Charlotte, while Litton was playing at Florida State and Penn State. Police said Hazel was driving a Dodge Charger in Jackson in the passenger seat when their car was struck by an Infiniti Q50 attempting to change lanes at a high speed. The Charger left the road, struck multiple tree stumps, and according to police, Jackson and Hazel were pronounced dead at the scene, and Layton was transported to a hospital before being pronounced dead at the hospital. Neither the driver of the Infiniti Q50 nor her 2 passengers or the driver of the third vehicle were hurt. Investigators believe alcohol may have played a role in the crash. But that's just that's just absolutely terrible what happened to him, to Kyrie Jackson, and his 2 teammates, former high school teammates as well. That's just terrible. And it's a big blow because this guy was projected to be a starter for the Vikings too on defense. Yeah, obviously. So that's terrible. I meant to get to that yesterday, and it just slipped my mind. 727-858-6650 across the that's how you call across the Coastal Sports Network video platform, and all over the place. Again, following me on X, on Twitter at pshep326, my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, Sports Radio 102.9. As I said, Lou Merlone going to join me 8:30. Before that, at 8:15, we'll have the Red Sox report brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Then we'll have Lou Merlone, former Red Sox player turned broadcaster, and a great guy. Saw him a few weeks ago at Glenn Ordway's induction into the Massachusetts Broadcasting Hall of Fame ceremony. John Meter Perrell will join me, the voice of BC football. We'll talk with him about college football and some other stuff as well at 9. And then Joe Zagacki, the longtime radio voice of all things Miami Hurricanes, and obviously football, will join me at 9:30 to talk about the Canes, who are making a huge impact, not only this year, but in next year, signing some big-time names. Angel, if we could, on my Twitter, I want to show you this video, if we can, of Wick Rosbeck sat down with Chris Mannix, and it's not too far down, with Chris Mannix, and it's about 90 seconds long, about why he is selling the team. And while you're looking that up, I meant to get to this yesterday as well. I couldn't. There was somebody stole a whole bunch of Mickey Mantle cards that were worth $2 million. A lot of them were rookie cards. The guy is offering $70,000 if you return the missing box. 6 Mickey Mantle rookies among $2 million in cards reported stolen in Dallas. So, anywho, if you have any information, there it is. All right, Angel. So this is Wick Rosbeck with Chris Mannix of SI discussing the sale of the Celtics.
I know that many were surprised, if not shocked, to hear the news that you were going to sell your majority stake in the franchise. Can you tell us why you made that decision?
Sure. Well, I want to just clarify. It's not my majority stake. The control of the team is owned by my family. So it's a family that I belong to. And then I have the Celtics family I also belong to. So there's an intersection and there's an involvement. So the family has been involved. We've been involved 22 years. So there's been discussions and thoughts about estate planning and family planning. And so the expectation is to sell the team in 2 parts, 51% going fairly soon, 49% then closing in a second closing. That's the expectation in 2028. I'm planning or expected to stay on until 28, and we're going to hire bankers and advisors and this is going to be quite a bidding process.
So this was a family decision. You said in the press release that it was, quote, estate and family planning considerations. Right. Can you elaborate at all on that?
I think that speaks, I think, Scott, that really just says it. It's a family, been in a long time, and loves the Celtics. And at some point after 22 or even 25, 26 years, you can find somebody else to come in with energy and commitment. We're going to try to find the right buyer.
Yeah. Okay. There you have it. Rick Grossbeck. So yeah, and I've heard some comments from people on newspaper and a couple of radio shows. Just absolute horrible takes on this whole situation, like childish shit, which I'm not going to do here. Look, it's Rick Grossbeck. It's the perfect time for him to sell. He's been a great owner. If it's not going to officially happen for another 3 years, he's going to he's going to take the highest bidder. That's how business works. I just hope the highest bidder is serious about this team. I don't want a Jerry Jones type. What John Henry has done with the Red Sox lately has been awful, even though when he took over, won four world titles since he's taken over, World Series championships. But lately he's been literally invisible. Nobody knows where he is. But I'm not faulting Rick Grossbeck at all. This is what good owners do, good business people. It's time to get out, and anybody making fun of him because his family is involved in the decision. I mean, it's just childish. I heard some stuff out of Boston that was like, are you kidding me? Grow the fuck up. Just ridiculous. The guy's been a great owner, and they may win another championship or two before he leaves officially. So it's his right. And if everybody else was in that position and they wanted to sell, God bless him. I think he'll sell. I don't think he'll sell to the highest bidder per se, unless he thinks the highest bidder has the integrity that he is looking for as well to keep the Celtics headed in the direction they are.
So are some of the fans then, Pete, in Boston? I know Philly used to use a favorite word, sellout. Do they feel like he's selling out?
No, I don't think it's the fans at all. I think it's media people. Some of them. Just try to be the fake contrarian to be the fake contrarian. They actually don't believe what they're saying. It's such a joke. It's such a freaking joke. If I was up there, I would have blasted all of them. And they know who they are. Just ridiculous. It's at my old place at WEI. Just absolute pathetic takes. Tim, going back to football, says Dak is only good for the regular season, not worth $60 million a year. He says it's not the money. Bullshit. Go to Vegas and see how that goes. Bye. Take your chances. Come on, Tim. Take your chances with Lance or then he said Tom Brady. Stop it.
Tom's not coming back. Tom,
yeah. You know what? You'll take your chances with Tom Brady, Tim. You know where you're going to see him? Opening game on Fox 425 when your Dallas Cowboys go to Cleveland. That is what Tom Brady will be doing on that day. So you can talk to Tom then. You'll see him. You see him on your TV. Hi, Tom.
I got to find that clip where he talked about someone had interviewed him because now, he's getting ready to go into the broadcast role. But they mentioned to him, what's the difference between these younger quarterbacks, someone like Patrick Mahomes and yourself? And he said, I wanted to win, but I took myself too serious and I put the team in too much of a serious point versus I should have taken a page out of KC's book and you still wanted a trophy, but you wanted to have fun at the same time. He goes, so that's on me, which I'm even surprised he would have missed something like that. But also at the same time, too, I think everybody knew Tom Brady was all about business. That's nothing new to anybody. So
he was all about winning. And he sacrificed. He obviously got better and better throwing the ball. No question about it. Even though people ripped him not his rookie year because he played one game his rookie year. Okay. And, but Tom Brady was always about the team and sacrificing. And luckily, on the whole, the Patriots during that big 21-year stretch did not have a lot of prima donnas that were on the field complaining about not getting touches or, not getting enough reads and all that stuff. There wasn't a lot of that. Yeah. Of course there are prima donnas on every team, but it didn't really surface at all with the Patriots. And a lot of that had to do because Brady would tell them to shut the bleep up. And, you get the ball when I give you the ball, end of story. And I care more about winning than anything else. That's the bottom line. And however we win, if it's running the ball 30 times a game, 40 times a game, or throwing the ball 50 times a game, then that's what we're going to do.
Yep.
So anyway, time for actually a quick break. When we come back, Angel,
Yes.
I'm going to give you some disgusting world records. Why people hold these world records is unknown to me, but these are actual disgusting world records. And I'll give you all of that, a bunch of them coming up next. Don't forget, 8:15, the Red Sox report. They were off last night. We'll preview tonight's game. At 8:30, Lou Merloti, former Red Sox player, now current broadcaster, will join me. John Meter-Perrell at 9:05, the play-by-play voice of the BC football team, will join me at 9:30. Joe Zagacki from the Miami Hurricanes, longtime voice from the Miami Hurricanes, will join me at 9:30. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Eye on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Eye on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
What? I don't spaz out. I get minimally agitated at times. What? Peanut gallery giving me a look.
I do it every once in a while.
Yes, I spaz out at times. I absolutely do. I think the last time I truly spazzed out, like really lost my shit, was last year. I believe it was week 5 or week 6, when the Miami Hurricanes would have been 5-0, leading against Georgia Tech, and all they had to do was take a knee. And Mario Cristobal had a major brain cramp and ran the ball. Miami fumbled. They just could have run out the clock. They simply ran the ball. Just a victory formation, but decided to run the ball for whatever reason. Fumbled. Georgia Tech ended up recovering, scoring a touchdown, and then winning. That's probably the last time I absolutely spazzed out. And the Hurricanes ended up, instead of being 5-0 and undefeated all the way around, they ended up 7-6, 3-5 in the ACC. But this is a new season. I know Mario learned from that horrible mistake. And they have a huge game opening up the season in Gainesville, which I'm proud to say I will be going to. Can't wait. Never been to the Swamp before, when the Hurricanes take on the Florida Gators, which is a huge first game for both teams. But we shall. But that's the last time I spazzed out and lost I really, really lost it. Even during the Bruins and Celtics playoff games the last couple of years, there wasn't even a time to really spaz out. Tim said, "You're the king of spazzing out." Who are you kidding? That's how I got my name. No, I wasn't me that named you, Dopey. Well, I thought it was the golf show back when I was at ESPN Southwest. Wasn't that Jeff Nixon who gave you that name? I don't think I gave you that name. If I did, it was a Jeff, because you and your Medicaid. I do more ways than one. Yes. Well, I medicate for my type 2 controlled diabetes, which I have to, but yes. No, I mean, really, really spaz out. I mean, I couldn't sleep after that game against Georgia Tech last.
There's my pacemaker.
Yep. Somebody's English muffin is ready. I know it's not mine. Anyway, 727-858-6650. Okay. That's the number to call or text. Again, the Coastal Sports Network video platform is up and running. It's everywhere. So thanks everybody for checking us out. And we've seen the numbers grow incredibly over the last from last week and already. I'm just looking at my Facebook and my Twitter pages, Angel. It's been absolutely fantastic. Okay, as promised. Now listen to this. If some of you are eating breakfast, I'm warning you right now. Not to turn anything down, but these are world records. Remember world records at times, it used to be pride and honor. Usually. I mean, there was some stuff, tallest man in the world, shortest woman in the world, shortest person in the world, all that stuff. But world records, I guess. I know there was one like how many quarters you could, take off your elbow and catch, that kind of stuff. There's some interesting. I mean, we used to get the Guinness Book of World Records. Remember the book clubs in elementary school? Did you guys have that?
Yep.
We were in Philly, and you'd order books from time to time, kids magazines and stuff. But I always got the Guinness Book of World Records. I used to get them every year. Nothing really changed from year to year, but they were thick. It was like a Bible. back then. But you went through it. It was like crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, so here are some of the most disgusting world records. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. This is the longest maggot bath. A British woman named Christine Martin has the world record for the longest maggot bath. She spent 90 minutes bathing in 10 gallons of maggots.
Oh. What in the world?
It gets better.
Oh, boy.
Most cockroaches eaten. Ken Edwards of Glossop, Derbyshire, I believe that's in the UK, ate 36 cockroaches in 1 minute.
That's disgusting.
Texas snake man Jackie Bibby broke his own record for the most amount of live rattlesnakes held using his mouth. Jackie held 13 full-grown snakes by their rattling tails for 10 seconds. How is that possible?
I don't know.
A Turkish man. Now, you've heard of this. There's a horned lizard that shoots blood out of its eye.
Right.
There's a Turkish man out there that can squirt milk 9 feet out of his eye.
Ew. That's disgusting. How do you train for something like that? That's disgusting. All right.
Here's something that a lot of people can relate to. Flatulence, farts. Bernard Clemens of London, England, held his fart note for 2 minutes and 42 seconds. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
2 minutes and 42 seconds. Wow. That is one massive fart, let me tell you.
Sure is.
Shane, the space cowboy Hultgreen of Australia, pulled 907 pounds using only his eye sockets. It's a real eye opener.
Yeah, but how the hell do you do that one?
I'm looking at the video. It can be done. Also, it can be done. This is actually these are all world records in the book that are gross. Most condoms suck through a nose at once.
Oh.
Ryan Stock from Edmonton, Alberta, snorted 3 condoms through his right nostril and pulled them out through his mouth. What would propel anybody to do that?
I have no idea, but hopefully they weren't used.
Now, this is one that I can really relate to. The world's longest burp. How long do you think the world's longest burp is? Set by Tim Janis, set the world record for the longest burp. How long do you think?
Yeah, you just had the fart one for 2 minutes. I'm going to go with, let's go with 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
No, it was much shorter than that. But still, 18.1 seconds. But I can honestly say, I think I've come close to that. I can come close. I can at least do over 10 at times. There's no question. But 18.1 seconds is a lot.
That is a lot.
Now, the loudest female burp. So this is a hotly contested record, apparently. Jody Parks burped at 104.75 decibels to earn the world record. About a year later, Eliza Cagnoni burped 107.0 decibels. Jody Parks calls shenanigans. Claimed Guinness averaged 6 of her burps for the record. Jody said her loudest of the 6 burps was 107.7 decibels.
Good God almighty.
Most cow brains eaten. Competitive eater Takiro Kobayashi, you know him.
Yep.
Packed away 17.7 pounds of cow brains to set a world record back in 2006.
How does that not screw up your insides is what I want to know.
Well, any of these eating contests screw up your insides. And I got asked to participate in several. I never did. I did one. The first one way back. And I was about, 60 or 70 pounds heavier at the time. And it was not a chicken wing eating contest, but it was a fried shrimp eating contest, I believe. I got through about 20 seconds and I go, no, I'm not doing this. This is not healthy. I'm not doing it. These guys that do these competitive eating stuff, I don't know how it doesn't mess with your system. I mean, where you just want to throw up. I mean, especially the hot dog eating ones. I mean, do you know how much sodium that is to put away, 70 plus hot dogs in that short amount of time, not to mention the carbs with the bread. Anyway, Kobayashi, you know him, very competitive eater, 17.7 pounds of cow brains. Set the record in 2006. Here's one that'll gross you out. Anthony Victor, a retired Indian school teacher, as in India, decided to start growing out his ear hair and never stopped. The world record measurement is 7.12 inches of ear hair.
Oh, yeah. And that's, the funny thing is, I know with women, they don't like to have hair. I don't know what is it with us when we get older, man. It's between the ear hair and the nose hair, and it drives me freaking bananas. If someone would tell me I was in the manual when I got older, I would tell them stop it. It's just I hate it, can't stand it.
It is a pain. Okay, Kevin Cole has the record for blowing the longest strand of spaghetti out of a nostril in a single blow. He snotted out a spaghetti strand measuring 7.5 inches long. Now, I remember kids used to do that at lunch sometimes. It's just so, I never did it, but I never saw the purpose.
Right. Why? Holy mollies, man. That's... It's going to be a bad one.
Oh, God. Well, may save that one for the... I don't know. Look, I mean... People need to know this stuff, I guess.
How bad was it?
The world's longest ejaculation. Horst Schultz ejaculated over 18 feet to earn his record.
Is it a horse?
Jesus Christ.
Good Lord. Who
was the witness? Who was the witness to that for the Guinness Book of World Records?
Someone quick, get the measuring tape. I got it. Let's go. Jeez Louise.
Most maggots moved by the mouth in 1 hour. Charlie Bell, a former steelworker, carried 2 square feet of live maggots from one container to another using only his mouth in an hour. We all remember the Jerry Seinfeld episode, The Pick, where he wasn't really picking his nose. He was, rubbing it in the sun. But the Josh Warner jammed his pinky finger 2.25 inches into his nostril. That somehow is a world record. Tom Buchanan from Australia had 125 golden orb spiders on his body for a total of 55 seconds. The spiders are not poisonous, but they will bite and can cause your body to swell up. Most spiders on a body for 30 seconds. Oh, my God.
That's almost like, what was that show before with Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
It was the same way, too. Like, sometimes they were laying not literally in a coffin, but a coffin-like type deal, and they would either drop snakes or rats or something else. But no, I'm good. I'm good.
Here's something. Maybe a lot of men can relate to this. A librarian named Graham Barker set the world record for owning the most belly button lint. He had 3 full jars of navel fluff.
Oh, come on. Good Lord. How much did you bathe? Goodness gracious.
Well, it could happen before you bathe. You take it out before you bathe. If you bathe, it's going to, probably come out. But think about 3 full jars of navel fluff.
Yeah, I'm good.
Finn Kelleher, a boy from Utah, put 43 snails on his face and sat in a recliner surrounded by his family. Okay, that's... And lastly, as of 2009, a man from Springfield, Illinois, has 584 nose hairs in his collection.
Why?
Who does that? You get paid by Guinness for that world's largest nose hair collection. 584.
I know there's a lot of oddities and stuff that what people end up collecting, and I know some people for some reason they can't get rid of stuff. But it's as you mentioned, there was a last night we were watching TLC, I forgot what it is, the new Happily Ever After or the other 90 Day, whatever the shows are. But this guy, according to him, he says that he has slept with more than 2,500 women, and his now soon to be, I guess, fiance or wife or whatever, she's 2,501. But in his apartment, he has an old cabinet, and in this cabinet has bottles of the women that basically, I don't want to say took advantage of her. I forgot how to explain it, but basically comes down to where he has all these freaking bottles and collections of the girls that he had dated, and they're almost like trophies. I'm like,
well, that, you know what? That sounds like that show on Netflix. That guy. It was a great show. It had like 3 seasons, and that guy was. He would almost like the talented Mr. Ripley. He would get involved very succinctly in these women's lives. He'd look up all their social media stuff and get involved and like seduce them and everything else. And then he collected, quote unquote, trophies. A lot of them got killed, but he would collect, shirts and bras and other stuff like that. Unbelievable. Guy at the marina with his ear hairs and his eyebrows and his always looked like a Muppet. Tim says that catch quarters off the elbow. Okay, Fonzie. Yeah, remember that was an episode cousin, but that's actually a Guinness Book of World Record.
Yep.
It's actually something like that. Yeah, I remember that episode, Tim. Remember Ralph tried to blow the biggest bubble? That wasn't even close. I blew bubbles way bigger than that. I forget what else. But yes, absolutely right.
Lent and scabs. Yeah, that's just. I don't understand. Like some people have this weird stuff that they end up collecting, which is it's odd. And then we've always heard people with shoes, purses, necklaces, all kinds of. But
you see Hoarders. The show Hoarders is one of the most fascinating yet disgusting things you'll ever see.
Oh yeah,
I don't get it, and people living in this filth. For years and years. It's crazy. And then you got the other shows where people, like one woman wants to eat fiberglass. Another guy likes to eat glass, like stuff. Somebody was eating a couch. I remember some guy had some fascinated by eating his couch. I mean, just like where do people come from? It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but the shows on TLC, you guys have heard me talk about this before, but it's fascinating. Like Debbie and I, for the most part, have like zero drama because we laugh at other stuff that goes on. But some of these people, like, what makes you think if you couldn't find someone here in the U.S., now you want to go overseas, and to each his own, but you go overseas, and then if their lifestyle is completely different from what we have over here, and then that's where basically most of the fights start. Like, you can't wear that over here, or you can't do this, or you can't drink that. I'm like, I'm fascinated at the stuff that people will put themselves to, then complain on national television. Why did I meet this person? Who in the hell told you to go halfway across the world to go meet somebody?
It's unbelievable. It really is.
Tim. Well, you know what? It's not. He's got a point. That's a good one because that's a 1-2 combination.
Yes, just created a show about dating ladies of the night, hoarders. Yeah, WHO. Yeah, or
hoarders, like the regular stuff that you hoard a lot of stuff in your house. That's why that's like a 1-2 combination. Not bad by Tim. Not bad.
It's just like these shows, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I don't get it. I really don't get it why men and women want to go on these shows. Well, I get why the guy wants to do it. He gets to date, 25 girls in a month, and probably have sex with more than half of them. But I don't overall, I mean, whatever entertains you, whatever floats your boat, that's fine. There's a lot of people who don't admit they watch these shows, but they do. I was fascinated with last year, the first 3 episodes. I can only take 3 of the older guy, the senior citizen guy. Whose wife had passed away. He went on the octogenarian. He wasn't an octogenarian, but he was, on The Bachelor. I think he was in the what? Golden Bachelor, yeah. And I don't know, the one we ended up with at the end, I don't know, they lasted 2 weeks before I think they got married and they got divorced right away, I think.
Yeah.
Have you seen the MILF dating show? OMG, Tim. No, what MILF dating show?
So on TLC. See, Tim and I
Oh,
are
it is?
Yeah, we're on the same
I didn't even know. What's the name of it?
MILF.
If I MILF?
Yeah, but it's really friggin' bizarre what it is that you have these younger guys who want to date older women. And so the guys are like 21, 23. Yeah. I think the oldest might be 25. And then they range from like 40. I think maybe the oldest lady I want to say was maybe 52-ish or whatever the case may be. To me, it's a funny concept because obviously here these women come into the house and all these guys are ooh and on, and then they switch it up by either bringing another 2 set of women or another 2 set of guys. And then eventually for the women who just aren't picked, they're taken out. You've had like 1 or 2 guys that leave. TLC, as much of a network that used to be called the Learning Channel, now they figured out that they can just put anything on TV and people will watch because I'm telling you, there's that one, Happily Ever After, 90 Day the Other Way, 90 Day Fiance. I mean, there's just all kinds of freaking nonsense. I'm telling you, if you want non-drama in your life, watch that and you'll get all the drama filled that you need and then you just go to bed with it.
Well, again, we can't be hypocritical either about, a MILF show with guys. And then you got, Bill Belichick and Ron Kraft dating, people that could maybe be their great-grandchildren, as far as that goes. But
yeah,
whatever makes you happy. I'm not judging anybody with that. I mean, I've seen 70-year-old women marry 20-something-year-old men. I've seen that, and vice versa. So I guess you love who you love. But see, these shows like 90 Day Fiance. I mean stuff like that where you better be getting paid pretty well because all it is you're getting humiliated. It's just like it's just I don't know why you want to put yourself through that unless you're getting paid a pretty good amount of money.
Yep.
Tim says first season MILFs was so bad the guys were the sons of the MILFs.
Yep. It was bizarre. Yeah, that's how they started off with. It was so freaking strange. Like,
the son of a MILF.
Yeah. So there's the one blonde lady, and because her son just came back. So the family comes in like they're like the last 2 episodes, whatever it is. So now the sons come back or the family members, excuse me, not the sons, but the one lady's son came back and she dated the guy who is like her son. So her son's name is Joey. And there was a guy named Joey that's still there at the house. And she said, I dated him because of you. And the first thing that came to my mind was, so you're obsessed about your son in a very weird way. And so you dated
very Freudian.
Yeah, pretty much.
I might have to check it out.
Tim's on a roll here.
Oh, Tim said, did you see Belichick buying diapers for a baby at himself?
Never.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. Anyway, all right. We're 1 hour down and 2 more to go today. We'll have a full show up until 10 a.m. this morning. Coming up at 8:50. When we come back, we're going to play the cut. Angel, we'll get it ready. Novak Djokovic's little tirade, kind of a spoiled brat. It's like one of those tennis golf rants, where, tennis and golf guys and girls get that reputation for being spoiled little brats. I thought this was kind of uncalled for, but we'll let you see the video. We got that. We got some more NBA news, other people saying how disrespected they feel. We'll get into that. Dan Hurley signs a huge deal with the UConn Huskies extension, so we'll play some sound from that as well, and a whole lot more. Red Sox report at 8:15. Lou Maloney coming up, former Red Sox player and caller man now for the Red Sox Radio Network, coming up at 8:30. John Mita Perrell, BC play-by-play voice at 9 o'clock, and then Joe Zagacki at 9:30, the longtime Miami Hurricane football and really all things Miami, football, basketball, baseball, play-by-play voice for the Hurricanes will join me as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Yeah, can you go this way? Can you go the other way? Now I'm fucking dizzy. Okay, that was stupid.
And that's the sound for a future show.
Yes, welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. And again, thanks for following us, everybody. Our awesome video platform here on Twitter X, on the Facebook and Broad Street South pages, YouTube, powered by Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, of course, Sports Radio 102.9, exec producer and host extraordinaire Angel Martinez here as well, doing it from the Isola della Cucina, my beautiful kitchen island here.
By the way,
in Fort Myers.
thanks to a lot of the folks that are listening on Rumble. I get messages from folks from Rumble. So thank you so much. We're getting a lot of eyeballs over there. So thank you guys for checking out the show. Also, don't forget to follow the new socials, Coastal Sports Network, both on Instagram and Twitter. Or X, sorry, for those who are new and modern. And then the Facebook page will be coming up. But again, on Instagram and Twitter, obviously, if you guys follow us, we'll follow you right back. As the shows are also being broadcasted there live as well, like last night with Lloyd Vance, tomorrow Talking Hoops, and then some other shows that are coming on board as well. There would be a 15-minute one. A gentleman I've come to know for the last year and a half, he does a Nationals podcast, but he does it in 15-minute segments, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. And then he also does the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minute, and he does a quick breakdown of what's going on. And so there's more stuff here to come as I get things lined up. And so when you guys see me that I don't do my normal show at 10 o'clock, today will probably be one more day where you won't see it. It's because there's so many things that I have to talk to, and there's another gentleman that I have to talk to out of Mexico who also wants to start something. So, nice. Yeah, there's tons of stuff here. So the Coastal Sports Network is it's alive and well. It's fun. Myself, Pete, and Rich. And Rich will be back probably on Thursday. He had some stuff to take care of. But it's the summertime, you guys. Everybody has kind of like a different schedule, and then we all get ready to get ramped up for football season. So there's just tons of stuff that's going on. And being one person, I have to scatter myself as many places that I possibly can. And also, don't forget, please, as I informed Jerry from Rhode Island, and thank you, Jerry, for tuning in all the time. We appreciate it. The existing app, if you guys are attempting to listen to the existing app that was there from the one that I rebranded, recreated, you're hearing old replays because that is no longer going to be coming into play here in about 4 days. Go and visit sr1029thegame.com. Download the new app where you can do everything from text the show to call the show to watch the show live now on the app. And of course, listen in on the app as well. And there'll be more updates coming up. There's also a push notification feature. So if something breaks or something happens, I'm able to push it out as well, whether we're live or off air, one or the two. But so you guys can always stay up to date with us. So that is it in your up-to-date minute.
Sweet. Angel, again, as I said yesterday, can't say enough about this guy, about what you do, what you have done behind the scenes. And you do the work of at least, I say like 25 people, but at least like you're doing the work of at least 5 or 6 people. And it's outstanding. Outstanding. You put this all together. It's really something else. And we're growing and we're kicking ass and taking names, baby. We've got a lot of good stuff happening. Wait till we get closer to football season. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And I'm definitely going to be doing something on Saturday mornings. Short show from like 10 a.m. to noon, college football preview show. There's no question about it because a lot of you have been asking for it. We're going to give it to you. It's going to be great. And we'll have lots of preview sound and everything else for the Power 5 conferences.
Is that going to be on location, Pete?
No. Well, it might be. It might be on location. If you're talking about it, sports bars or restaurants, yes.
Oh,
that is the plan.
Road trip.
Yeah, road trip. Yep. And so there's plenty of places around where I live in Southwest Florida, even up, and I'd come up to Tampa too, wherever will have me, and we can set this stuff up anywhere. So it's really cool.
There is a lot of cool places up there. You're down there, your neck of the woods, where you can go easy.
Unlimited. I mean, from Cape Coral all the way to Sanibel. I mean, it's like I couldn't do the show in the same place twice in 5 years. It would be ridiculous if I wanted it to. There's so many great places, and they all have the college football packages and NFL packages, so it's great.
Yeah,
so lots of good stuff coming.
I love doing it at Tampa Joe's shows. Yeah. People, before, let me explain when I say doing it. I love doing these shows from the football season over at Tampa Joe's. My only issue that I have there, which they've been trying to make it better, is the internet connection, because when you're into a rhythm, into a show, and people are coming and they're gathering up and they're adding elements to the show, the tough part is that when it cuts out. And one thing I tried to do last year, and I know my producer is listening in on Studio B, but if I end up doing it this year, if pretty much our act together, would end up being that I can actually take a wireless cam and go around to ask people the different questions with the wireless mic, which I'm hoping to add as an element. If again, depending on how much stuff I get done here, but it's fun because you get a ton of Eagles fans, and you also get a lot of fans too from the opposing team. So whoever they're playing, the guys who come in, it's just funny to me that whenever it's a Bucs game, nobody shows up when it's the Bucs game, and I swear I don't understand it.
Really?
Yeah, nobody does. And it's a nice place. Tampa Joe's is really interesting. Mike Goodwin does such a great job with those guys. They've been, good Lord, a proud sponsor of Broad Street South we're going on 3 years now.
That's great.
And he does such a great job. And then obviously the Eagles fans, if you guys are down here in Tampa area, Philly of the South is the Eagles fan club group that's run by Mike Klein and Michelle, and both of them do a phenomenal job. But yeah, it's doing remotes. It's fun, but then aggravating when it doesn't come in as great as you want it to.
Well, you got to get usually. I mean, I always. You got to double and triple check this stuff. If you can get Ethernet, if you can get a plug-in with Ethernet, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
if possible. Otherwise, you're on the on-site's Wi-Fi. You can cut in and out and everything else. But I can tell you, down here, the last 7 years when I was at the other place, I don't know, a couple different times trouble connecting, but we always got it done before the show started. So. It's overall, it's been great. You go into these places with Wi-Fi and internet, and it's amazing what you do get. But now the thing with sports betting and people on apps all the time, and fantasy football and everything else, you've got a lot of people in these sports bars that are using up. And sometimes, unless you're if you're lucky enough, you get the private one. If you know the owner or the manager, they'll give you the private thing. But if you're at whatever sports bar you're at, and it'll say guest. And then there's one that says private. Most people have to go to the guest one, and that's where you can get not into trouble, but you may not get the best signal at times because everybody's on it, especially during the game. But doing 10 to noon is not bad because people are just starting to come in. The game has its audience. The first game in college won't start till 12 o'clock. Maybe even the one in Ireland coming up with Georgia Tech. And Notre Dame. That's going to be. I think that's a noontime start in Ireland. As well. But the key is when you're on location, grabbing, if you can, like doing shows like this, make sure you can get a hardwire plug-in. Anyway, there's your technical lesson for the day. 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. Got the Red Sox report coming up in just a couple of minutes here. Lou Merloni then will join me at 8:30. John DePerl at 9. Joe Zagacki at 9:30. If we could, Angel, it's like the 4-story down about what happened yesterday at Center Court with Novak Djokovic. He was taking on Holger Rune, and if we can play that cut, which is going to be a commercial before it, but just about, I wanted to see the video. I have the audio, but seeing the video is always better. So it's Djokovic goes off about the disrespect. The word of the day is disrespect from some fans. So let me know when you get that. So I'll just set it up. I think he overreacted. People were chanting "Rune," which sounds like boo, but he didn't understand that or thought they meant something else. But Novak Djokovic had a nice little response for the fans.
Oh, jeez.
All those people that have chosen to disrespect.
Yeah, this is it.
The player,
I can't see
in this case me.
I see it on the bottom. I don't see it on the top.
Good night.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
See, what was the magic word that you said in the beginning?
I know.
Yeah. So if you can't see, guess what you'll be doing?
Okay, I'm refreshing. Here we go. First time in a day and a half.
Yep. So, see, folks, when you go live, things happen. It's okay. It's what we work with. After Pete does a little upgrade, I'm pretty sure that will end up going away for him, but it's no big deal. That happens. So that's what we do. And he'll be back in about 3, 2, 1 here in a second, and then we'll get right back into the video where he can see it, we can see it.
There we go.
Can you see it?
I can see it. I can see you. So here we go.
Okie dokies.
To all those people that have chosen to disrespect the player, in this case me, have a good night. I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse to also boo. I played in much more hostile environment, trust me. You guys can't touch me.
Oh, that's gracious, Wit. I mean, see, that's why a lot of tennis players and golfers get bad raps because of stuff like that. I mean, stop it.
Yeah. It's pretty
Stop
bad.
it. What do you think? Kyrie Irving. How he plays so crappy in Boston, but they're all over. Guys who touch the ball or the puck in hockey, and with thousands of fans screaming at him every time they touch the ball or the puck. And this guy, it's typical tennis wussyism. And I'm really surprised that he even brought it up. He won the match easily, 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. Just over a couple of hours. So Rune supporters at various tournaments often will stretch out his name saying Rue, which sounds like boo. But he took it way too personal. Afterwards, he said, they were. I don't accept it. I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse to also boo. Listen, I've been on the tour for more than 20 years, so trust me, I know all the tricks. I know how it works. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I focus on the respectful people that have respect, that paid for a ticket to watch tonight and love tennis and appreciate the players and the effort that the players put in there. What are you talking about, man? Look, I don't know what Wimbledon can really do about it. I mean, in those particular moments when it happens, the crowd paid their tickets. They have the right to be there and cheer the way they want to cheer. That's absolutely something they choose. How they behave or how they choose to support that player is really up to them. Yes, you could argue maybe a chair umpire or whomever can step in certain moments and calm them down, but there's not much you can do. You're not going to take out the whole section of the crowd or stadium because they're misbehaving or showing disrespect. I don't know where he's coming from. And a lot of times, particularly at Wimbledon, many times the umpire will say, quiet, please. Quiet, please. You hear that all the time. What the hell is this guy talking about? Are you kidding me? Wait till he plays his next match. So you just opened up a big can of worms.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. It is 8:15 and time now for the Red Sox report, which is brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and in Plastow, New Hampshire. So let's get to the Red Sox report. They are currently a game and a half up on Kansas City for the final wild card game they had yesterday off. They're looking to keep their good play moving on. They are home tonight, start of a 3-game series with the Oakland A's. They've won 6 of their last 7. They're 4.5 games behind the Yankees for the top American League wild card spot. There goes that Nat. Again, it just came off beating the Yankees 2 out of 3 at the stadium. Rafael Devers had a couple of homers, giving him 16 in his career at Yankee Stadium. His first broke a scoreless tie in the 7th inning. Devers has logged multiple hits in 7 of his last 11 games and now looks to continue the recent surge. Brian Bello on the mound tonight for the Red Sox, 8-5 with a 5.19 ERA. He last pitched on Wednesday, where he struck out 7 and 6 2/3 of a 1-run ball at Miami. And tonight will mark his 3rd career start against Oakland. He's allowed 10 runs on 10 hits over 9 innings in the previous 2 outings. Not too good. Despite dropping 2-3 in Baltimore over the weekend, the A's, by the way, scored 19 runs in a Saturday win, kept their series close throughout. The losses were by 3-2 and 6-3. They've won 4 of their last 6. Oakland going to send 22-year-old Joey Estes, 3-3, 4.39 ERA, to the mound tonight to face the Red Sox. First time in his career following a complete game gem in his last start, which was Wednesday, against the Angels. So he threw all 9 innings, 92 pitches. Imagine that, a complete game with 92 pitches. Fewest required by an ace pitcher in a complete game since 2005, 19 years ago. He was also the first rookie for the A's to toss a shutout since 2009. He's made 10 starts since being called up from AAA Las Vegas back in May. So Red Sox and A's go at it tonight. Red Sox are minus 189 on the money line, and the A's are plus 158. The total is 10. I would go over. I would probably go over in this game, over 10. But there it is, the Red Sox report, brought to you by, as always, every day, Monday through Friday, 8:15, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. And we'll hear more about the Red Sox from Lou Merloni coming up, former Red Sox player and and now Red Sox broadcaster on the Red Sox radio network. Does a great job. After that, at 9 o'clock, John Meter Perrell, part of the play-by-play voice for the Boston College football team. And you hear him on the ACC network as well and the ESPN platform doing college basketball too. And then Joe Zagacki, the longtime veteran play-by-play voice of all things Miami Hurricanes, will join me at 9:30. So big stuff lined up for you today here. The Pete Sheppard Show. What else do I have for you? Yes. Oh, okay. I wanted to get to this too. If we can scroll down to the NBA stuff, Angel, on Total Sport. Actually, let's start with college basketball. It's right above that. Coach Dan Hurley for UConn agrees to a 6-year, $50 million contract with UConn. If we could play that one cut from WTNH News 8, would be great. That rhymes.
Well, and good news for Huskies fans. It was just about a month ago that Hurley passed on a head coaching job with the LA Lakers and decided to stay in stores. Late this morning, UConn announced that the coach has signed a big new contract deal. UConn says Hurley signed a 6-year deal worth $50 million. That should keep him here through the 29-30 basketball season. Hurley was already the highest paid state employee. He still is now, and then some, along with being one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. The UConn president released a statement calling Dan Hurley the best men's basketball coach in the nation, and the school is delighted he will continue calling UConn home. Hurley released a statement a short time ago saying, "It's an honor to coach basketball at UConn and to represent this world-class institution and the great state of Connecticut. We will continue to obsessively pursue championships and historic success while continuing to develop great young men. Bleed blue." Hurley, of course, coming off back-to-back national championships. The Lakers deal was reportedly worth $20 million more than the UConn deal, but Hurley and his family decided Stores is the place to be. This coming season will be his 7th as Husky coach. He says he's going for a three-peat. We shall see. I'm Darren Kramer, News 8, and back to you.
Okay. Of course he's going to say he's going for a three-peat. What's he going to say? I hope we don't win it again? I mean, of course he's going to say that. So good for Dan Hurley. And there are those that say he never intended to be the Lakers coach, that he was just waiting for a deal like this to stay at UConn. I think the truth is probably someplace in between. I just don't think the Lakers blew him away with that offer. I don't. So now they got J.J. Redick and that mess. And speaking of that, Angel, if we could scroll down to cut number 2 on Sirius XM NBA radio, Justin Turman and Ryan McDonough talk about J.J. Redick.
Here's what I don't understand about Redick's approach before we get into the offseason up to this point for L.A. He has never coached a game before in his entire career. Has never coached an NBA game. You have the Summer League. The Summer League is a place where, it's a learning ground for the players. To me, it's also a learning ground for the coaches. Redick today saying that Dane Johnson, the head coach of the South Bay Lakers, is going to coach the Lakers during the Summer League at the Cali Classic and in Las Vegas. You make, heads or tails of this. I don't understand that, Ryan. I can understand, Eric Spoelstra not coaching the Summer League. I can understand Nick Nurse not doing it. I can understand, Mike Budenholzer maybe not doing it. There is the new head coach of the Phoenix Suns. All those guys have experience. J.J. Redick's gotten them. Why doesn't he use the Summer League to work out some of the kinks? I don't understand it.
Well, I don't understand it either. That was one of the main criticisms of JJ, obviously, was that he had no head coaching experience. And it's a difficult job. I mean, look, the ability to do all the tough parts of the job in a lower pressure environment, which Summer League clearly is. When do you use your timeouts? What are your substitution patterns? When do you use coaches' challenges? Do you rest certain players? Minutes, load, all those kind of things. Communication with your training staff during the game if there's an injury. There's a lot going on when you're in that seat. Even for the guys, as you know, Justin, we talk about it all the time in the NBA, just sliding over 18 inches from the assistant coaching seat to the head coaching seat. Even if you've been on an NBA bench for a decade or more as an assistant, it's still a big adjustment. If you've never sat in one of those coaching seats on an NBA bench or in college or anywhere really at a high level, it's a bigger adjustment. So I don't understand why he wouldn't get the experience. Preseason is fine, but you only play a handful of preseason games now. And to me, this is something I would want organizationally. If I were Lakers ownership or in the front office, I would want him to do this. I would want him to coach every game and get that experience, because you want any mistakes that are going to be made now, not opening night or one of the 82 games that are very important for the Lakers in a loaded Western Conference.
Okay, here's my response to that. Number one, why you shouldn't be surprised. First of all, it's the smugness, it's the dukeness, the smugness, the snottyism that I talked about before. He thinks he's always the smartest person in the room. And while he was an excellent NBA analyst, during games on ESPN, there were times where I really thought Doris Burke was going to punch him in the face, or wanted to, because he talks down to people. He always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. And I think it's why people hate Duke. They hate that smugness of guys like that. And he's going to be in for a rude awakening. I agree with Justin. I agree with Ryan McDonough right there about him. He should be coaching. He's never coached before. But in his mind, he thinks he can do everything. He can do everything. It's unbelievable. But he's going to find out. He's going to be in for a rude awakening. There's no way on God's green earth that man makes it through 4 years with the Lakers. No way. One more before we go to break, Angel. I want to scroll down to near the bottom. Also on Sirius XM NBA Radio. Here's my guy, Brian Scalabrine, Celtics broadcaster, on how the 76ers improved the roster, can match up well with the Celtics now.
Yeah, I think they got guys that can guard. They got multiple defenders. Like, if Philadelphia doesn't have a defensive weakness, you look at all their players, you can point wherever you want to point to. You think that this guy can't guard, or that guy can't guard. I think they're good enough. And Embiid's a beast at the rim. So the Celtics historically, even though they've been better with Porzingis out there, when they have shot blocking bigs, and Joel Embiid is one of the best rim protectors, he gets underrated on that side of his game. But sometimes they could struggle with the decisions at the rim with a big guy like Embiid there. So they got a good team. Got to give them credit what they're doing.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. So we'll look forward to that. All right, another quick break, Angel. Lou Merloni going to join us coming up here, and we're talk about the Red Sox chances, and if ownership is in buy or sell mode, or what the hell is going on. Are they going to stay put? Lou Merloni coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back to The Pete Sheppard Show. It is Tuesday, July 9th. How's everybody doing today? Let me tell you something. It is, it's hot here in Southwest Florida today. I mean, it is hot. There's hot, and then there's incredibly hot. And I got to tell you, that's one of the tough. This is one of the, it's been down here, going on 8 years. This is one of the tougher days out there, even for down here. Tough to breathe. So be careful if you're out there. Our friends in Texas going through the hurricane in Galveston and Houston. Please take care if we're able to listen. We're thinking of you, and thoughts and prayers going out to all of you guys. Anyway, welcome back, Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks for checking us out. Small Brownie says, "That's so cool to hear, Pete." Hey, thanks, my man. Appreciate you. Check us out on our incredible video platform here, the Coastal Sports Network, on Twitter, X at PShep326. You can follow me there on Facebook and Broad Street South. Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course on Sports Radio 102.9. The phone number to call or text, 727-858-6650. Executive producer extraordinaire and host Angel Martinez here as well, here on the Pete Sheppard Show, as we await Lou Merloni to check in. So I'm going to text him now.
By the way, while you're doing that, an update here from Ion Tampa Bay. Don't forget IonTV.com. Visit them for your news, weather, and traffic, along with being powered by here on the Coastal Sports Network, Ion TV. An updated crash in Marion County on I-75 North at mile marker 352, and traffic backed up beyond mile marker 349. The right lane is blocked, and that was last updated at 8:04. So if you are traveling in the area and you're listening in on the app, you know why at the moment, while the traffic's backed up, everything else on the majors here locally between I-4, 275, 1950, and 589 seem to be clear.
Excellent. Good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. Yeah, it's warm up where you are too. And again, for some reason, the accidents that happen here from Tampa down here to Fort Myers, man, it's never a fender bender. They're always like crazy stuff because people are speeding and not changing lanes properly and all that stuff. Anyway, again, the number to call, text 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. While we wait for Lou Merloni to check in with us down in the major leagues last night. Minnesota continues. Every time Minnesota hits a home run, they win. I think that's 25 or 26 straight games where the Twins hit a home run, they win. They won 8-6 last night in 11 innings. Pittsburgh over the Mets by a score of 8-2. Detroit blanked Cleveland 1-0. Jake Rogers scored the go-ahead run on an error in the bottom of the 8th inning in that one. Cincinnati blanked Colorado 6-0. Dela Cruz still his 45th stolen base in that one. He stole second and third in one inning last night early. And he set a franchise record of stolen bases before the All-Star break in the bottom of the first. That's what happened in the bottom of the first inning. And then Reese Hins also had a solo shot. Rookie, first at bat, solo shot, home run, first at bat. You know who else hit a home run in his first at bat, if I'm not mistaken? Lou Merlone, when he joins us. His first at bat with the Red Sox out of Providence College. And of course, he played at AAA, but I mean, he had his first at bat, hit a home run, if I'm not mistaken. Sweet Lou Merlone. Elsewhere, Texas over the Angels by a score of 9-4. Atlanta over Arizona 5-4 in 11 innings. That was a great game. Both teams playing well. St. Louis blank Washington 6-0. So there's your mini MLB rundown there as well, as you wait for Lou Merlone to join us. 727-858-6650. That is the number to call, 727-858-6650. I did call him, and you did send him the link, Angel, right?
C.
Yes. Well, I just said he could join us at any time, and I'm going to be really interested to see his thoughts. And I think a lot of broadcasters, a lot of media people are just up in the air. They don't know what the Red Sox are going to do. Buster Olney didn't really instill a lot of hope in Red Sox fans by saying before the game on Sunday night that they're undecided whether they should try to win now or be sellers. And if they're sellers, there's going to be holy hell to pay. There really will be. I mean, like I said, nothing surprises me in sports all that much anymore. But when you get a premier franchise like the Red Sox and you are in position to win, you go for it. You do it. You can't be sellers. It's a fun team to watch. They're entertaining, and there's no reason why they can't do this and go for it. I'm just trying to figure out where Lou is. He's usually pretty up. He's pretty punctual. So we'll wait for Lou Merlone. In the meantime, Angel, I can't watch the screen. I have to watch something else. We'll watch, if you could monitor and let me know when he's coming on.
Sure.
Going over to college football news, because it's right around the corner, kids. It is coming up at the top of the hour. John Rita Perel will join me at 9, talk some BC football with him and ACC football in general. And at the bottom of the hour, Joe Zagacki, the longtime play-by-play voice and my buddy from the Miami Hurricanes, will join me as well. But the latest news, Michigan just flipped the commitment of a 4-star cornerback, Yvonne Taylor, from Notre Dame on Monday. He's the number 41 in the ESPN 300 and 5th-ranked quarterback in that cycle. So a good pickup for the Wolverines there. Now, here's an interesting one. The top the story's loading up here. Come on, load up.
Shake it like an etch catch.
3-star passer Jerron Kiwi Sagabuteli, the number 1 prospect in Hawaii, committed to Cal on Monday evening as Justin Wilcox and the Golden Bears secured a pledge from the top uncommitted quarterback of the 2025 class. Picked Hawaii. Sagapulatelli, 6'2" pocket passer from Ua Beach, Hawaii, picked Cal over Oregon, Oregon State, Boise State, and Utah State. Following visits to all 4 schools this spring, his recruitment drew increased attention following a breakout performance at last month's Elite 11 finals in Los Angeles. So remember, Cal is in the ACC now. So obviously, it's a big step up in that conference from going to Boise State, Utah State as well. But really interesting. Campbell High School, he threw for 3,757 yards, 37 touchdowns as a junior last fall. And those performances garnered offers from Colorado, Oregon State, Boise State, and others. So that's a good get. The recruit that the Miami Hurricanes got is also a native Hawaiian, although he played in Nevada. And the Hurricanes landed the best interior offensive lineman in next year's class and the number 10 ranked player overall. Not the 10th best offensive lineman, the number 10 player ranked overall, S.J. Alafatuli, number 10 in the 2025 class. He's Mario Cristobal's 10th commitment since June 18th for next year. An offensive line coach, we'll get more into this with Joe Zagacki next hour, but also offensive line coach Alex Mirabal had a big influence on adding him to the team. I mentioned that earlier, Angel, about Georgia and what they did. They made an unbelievable addition to their signing class this year. The commitment from former elite basketball recruit Jazari Jackson. He's 6'11".
Good Lord.
6'11" offensive tackle, and now stands among the tallest players in college football. He spent the past 3 years playing basketball with the Atlanta-based Overtime Elite program, announced his commitment to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs on Monday, opting for Georgia over Florida, Florida State, Mississippi State, and Arkansas at the end of a rapid-fire recruitment. He's 20 years old, will count towards the Bulldogs class of this year. He's already on campus, plans to enroll next month. Entrenched in the NBA draft process just months ago. Jackson heads for Athens, one of the college football's physical anomalies, preparing to join a national championship caliber program. It really is unbelievable. He says, this year, the plan for me to come in there and buy into the scheme and learn their scheme and also adjust, develop, and get better fundamentally. They want me to come in my first year and be able to play maybe 20 to 30 snaps for the season. After that, they think I can have the potential to come in my second year and be a starter. He's 6'11", 340 pounds.
Jeez,
according to ESPN stats and info, Jackson will be the fourth Division I player listed at 6'11" since 2017, and the second among active players, joining Jacksonville State offensive lineman Tom Hadery. And according to Pro Football Reference data, the NFL Scouting Combine has hosted only two players over 6'9" since 2000. Former Georgia offensive lineman Dennis Rowland and current Detroit Lions offensive tackle Dan Skipper. Now, football was Jackson's first sport growing up in San Diego. He had held multiple Division I football offers by the end of middle school. But as Jackson sprouted in height, his athletic path drifted from football towards basketball. As recently as this past May, he was going to play basketball. But a one-time AAU teammate of Bronny James, Jackson spent the first 2 years of high school at Florida's IMG Academy before moving to Overtime Elite. He won a championship in each of his 3 seasons and averaged 12.1 points, 7.5 rebounds in his final season with the program, where his contemporaries included 2024 NBA lottery pick Alex Sarr and Rob Dillingham, as well as Tyler Smith, who was the number 33 overall pick. So he mulled over opportunities in the G League and overseas football, the sport he had not played competitively since middle school, returned to focus. This kid's going to be great. So 20 or 30 snaps, I guarantee you, by when they start, by halfway through the season, he'll be the full-time starter. 6'11", 300. What did I say? 386 pounds.
Yeah, it's a tall kid.
Oh my God! Let me find the jack. 6'11". Getting scholarships in middle school. That is that is unbelievable. Sorry, 6'11", 340 pounds. 6'11". 340 pounds. That is one big dude. Let me tell you. Still no word from Lou, huh? I text him. Let me text him again real quick. Ask him.
Sure, go ahead. Because like I said, it was sent last night at 9:54.
Yep.
So he has it at the same time. I say about 2 minutes later, our guest at 9:30 got theirs as well, about 9:56. So I know it was sent because I made sure I watched and looked as I always do.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get a hold of him. Let me see more in college football. As I told you, Oregon also recently landed a Decorian Moore, the number one wide receiver in next year's class. So they get the number one wide receiver and in that class. And let's see, he's the number 3 overall recruit according to 2025 ESPN 300. Number 3 overall. Decides to go to Oregon. 5'11", 185 pounds. Chose Oregon over Texas, LSU, and Ohio State as well. He becomes another great part of Dan Lanning's class there. 2-time Texas 6A Division I state champion at Duncanville High School. He initially committed to LSU in August of 2023 as the second highest rated prospect in the Tigers 2025 class before pulling his pledge from the program May 16th. So Brian Kelly and the Tigers remained in contention for his commitment after he reopened his recruitment in the spring, and he took official visits to Ohio State, LSU, Texas, and Oregon for the final weekend of May into late June. And at the end of one of the most closely followed races of summer, the Ducks were able to lure more to Oregon in a major recruiting victory for Lanning and wide receivers coach Junior Adams. I'm trying to figure out, but a lot of it could have to do with nil deals and everything else. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, speaking of college football, EA Sports tomorrow is, let me find the story, is going to, I tweeted this out yesterday. Where is it? Here it is. The EA Sports College Football 25 launch roster was going to be revealed tomorrow. So over 10,000 athletes committed to appearing in the game within the first 10 days they were allowed to, which is great. And all those guys, you can be the 8th string linebacker. If your name is on that list, you're getting $660 minimum to participate, because all the names and numbers are on the back of everybody. So it's good stuff. That's great. That's one of my that's interesting. Sorry about the Red Sox, but yes, but the EA Sports, that game, college football is back. It used to be one of my favorite games ever. Has all the accoutrements of all the stadiums and the marching bands and all of the, the great ballads, the great theme songs for all the schools. It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Those of you wondering, on a baseball note, Bob Nightingale talking about veteran Chris Sale is scheduled to pitch tonight and Sunday, which now means he will not be able to pitch in the All-Star game. So, Mike Silverman, who writes about the Red Sox in the Boston Globe, said this yesterday or last night. Over the holiday weekend, John Henry spoke at length and in detail about why and how FSG got into business with the PGA Tour, FSG meaning Fenway Sports Group. When it came to speaking about the Red Sox, Henry declined.
Okay.
I really, really don't understand it. I really don't. It's so freaking frustrating that this guy has become invisible. He is ghosting the fan, he's ghosting the fans, ghosting the media, he's ghosting the fans. And you can have a lot to answer for if they don't do anything here to make a move, or at least try to do something. And I think they want to have a starting pitcher and a right-handed bat. That would be my guess. But unbelievable. We'll see what happens, and hopefully Lou Maloney will be able to join us here on the Pete Sheppard Show. What else do I have while we're waiting? I had some other funny kicker stories for you, Angel. Let me find. Let's see. Okay. Oh, here we go. The Haktua girl.
Yeah.
Racking up tens of thousands of dollars for public appearances. This is what we talked about last week.
Yep.
She's racked up over $30,000 in appearance fees over the July 4th weekend. According to reports from the Welch, booked an appearance at the iconic Memory Motel's pop-up in New York, along with 2 other area spots for more than $30,000. On Saturday, July 13th, she'll be hosting a daytime event at the famed Memory Motel's East Village location. Tickets going between $45 and $55 a pop. And we hear she'll be taking pictures with fans and autographing Memory merchandise. She'll also be stopping by the Ugly Duckling in Long Beach and Bull Smith's Tavern in Smithtown. In addition to the appearance fees, it was reported in late June that she had sold over $65,000 in merchandise, a number that's surely going to grow since that last reported. Also reported that Welch had officially landed representation as she signed with both the management from Penthouse and Nashville-based entertainment lawyer Christian Barker of the Christian Barker and Company representation. Welch said, sorry, what?
Penthouse and a Christian-based?
Penthouse and Nashville, signed with and Nashville-based entertainment lawyer Christian. His name is Christian Barker. Yeah, no. So, I mean, just unbelievable. She said, quote, "Please don't wake me. 2 weeks ago, it was just my granny and me in an itty-bitty Belfast, Tennessee. Then I say something silly, and now my life has changed. Isn't God great? Can't wait for what's ahead." Since then, she has launched official social media accounts and has racked up over 930,000 followers on TikTok. This was at the time yesterday, and over 1 million followers on Instagram. So that's all it takes. Spit on a microphone pretending it's a penis, and this is what happens. You get offers to do that.
Yep.
Why did I think of that?
This is why when people crack me up and they say, "Oh my God, I've done this and that." Listen, the average Joe and the average lady, for the most part, work 9 to 5, do what they're supposed to do, and then you get the one black gentleman that interviewed her, and he was just doing it for fun. It wasn't like no big deal. Again, he just threw a mic up there, said what she had to say. Here she says that, and then boom, it's instant. Now, of course, the guy doesn't get anything out of it other than his video going viral. That's about it. But now, this is what she's going to make money off of just saying "haktua," and that's it. That's why we're going to have to go around. I think we're going to make a nationwide tour, and we're just going to come up with funny sayings until eventually we get the one that we need to send us over the top.
I'm just, it's unbelievable. I guess in this day and age, it isn't that you can just go haktua on a microphone, say some filthy line. She said silly, I'll say filthy. She's obviously going to be in Penthouse, so she'll make more money doing that. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes to become a star host of it. What is she going to talk about? What's she going to ask? What is she going to? I mean, she doesn't seem like the bright. I give her. Look, I'm not faulting her. It's not her fault. She's taking advantage of a situation here, but she seems dumb as a box of rocks to me. What the hell is she going to talk about? I don't understand it.
Yeah, but see, sometimes it doesn't take that, and who knows? She may have minus the haktua thing. She could possibly have some sort of hidden talent. People, when she was, what was it? I think Barstool was not too long ago interviewing her, and
yeah,
I mean, she got a huge amount of folks to listen in to that interview, and that was only about maybe 5 minutes or so.
Don't get me wrong. She wanted to come on this show. I'd have her on in 2 seconds. I mean, it's serious, but I'm not paying her. I'm not paying her to come on.
Oh, no. Neither, I think Barstool didn't either. I think somehow or another he worked it in where she went to that, and it was Zach Brown. Yeah. It was Zach Brown. But yeah, no, listen, it's all it takes. A lot of the stuff that you see on social media, there was yesterday, listen, Netflix, I'm going to reach out to you guys because somehow or another we're going to end up making some sort of deal. Yesterday, Debbie and I watched this movie with, holy molies. And I know my producer here is in the studio, but we watched this movie last night with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. But
which one?
Is it
new movie?
Yeah. No Holds Barred or something.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up. But either way, it just goes to show you how they put in parts of today's world where she went to this party. Granted, she was supposed to be like the mom and dad wanted, which is Matthew Broderick was the dad. He wanted their son to start dating because he was a non-socialite. And what ended up happening was he goes on this date with Jennifer Lawrence. She's supposed to be 29-ish. And they asked her, well, how old are you? She goes, 29. He goes, but last year. He goes, so you're not 29 this year? She goes, no, last year. He goes, all right, so you're 29 then. She goes, no, 32-ish. So the whole premise of the movie was it was a funny flick if you guys wanted to watch it. But she went to this party, which was like a Princeton party. And as she's walking through, here's all these social media folks that they got their phones up and they're talking and blah, blah, blah. And as she's walking through, she was like, do you guys have nothing else better to do? I was like, no, but it's part of how this new stuff is. No Hard Feelings. See, my producer, she sends me a message here, but yeah, it's called No Hard Feelings. It's actually, it's a good movie. But
I like Jennifer Lawrence a lot. Most of the stuff she does.
Yeah, she does have a nudie appearance in the movie, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm not going to give away. Yeah, I'm not going to give away why and what happened, but it was pretty good. So if you're Netflix fans, No Hard Feelings, check it out. It was pretty cool, but I do like how they tied in, which goes to show people how strange this world is today and how the interaction was within the movie. But it was actually pretty good. But it goes to show you when it comes to talk to a girl, that's all you need is for just something silly to go on, and that's how you make money. How about that song years ago, right about now, the Funk Soul Brother? Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. That was the only 2 lines in that record, and the guy made over $10 million. So it doesn't take much. We got a comment that came in as well.
Yep. Spalding, get your foot off the boat. He says, good morning, gents. How are you? We are great. We are great, Dylan. Thanks for checking it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I get a hold of Dylan today. Dylan, if you're listening, I'm going to hold of you today because we didn't get the update for Portland. I know he was busy. Other than we found out there was a ton of homeless people there.
Yeah, well, that's not breaking news either, unfortunately. Sad situation, a big part of that part of the state, right? In Oregon, Portland. Yeah, it's too bad. All right, let's take another quick break here. And then John Meter Pro, I don't know what happened to Lou. And I'm sure, I hope he didn't get in a car accident or anything like that. But I know I think he's calling the game tonight on the radio, but that's not till later on. Even he wouldn't have to leave 12 hours before the game at Fenway tonight. But on the other hand, you never know with the traffic where he lives on the South Shore going all the way up to Fenway. You might have to leave 12 hours in advance to get there on time. All right, the phone number is always 727-858-6650. We have a huge video platform. I'll go over that again when we come back. John Meter-Perel, voice of the Boston College football team, will join me next. We'll talk about that, the Red Sox, Celtics, some other stuff as well. At the bottom of the hour, Joe Zagacki from the Miami Hurricanes, play-by-play voice of 35-plus years, will join me as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on this Tuesday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Damn it, Lou! Lou? Mary? Lou said, bleep. I got up early, fell back to sleep. Can I just call in? I told him we'll do it tomorrow. He's going to have to do a phoner tomorrow because he'll be on the road. But that's fine. So we'll have Lou Merlone on tomorrow at 8:30 because he fell asleep. Fell back to sleep. Got to hit the old snooze button. 1 minute. Or he didn't hit a snooze button. Just shut the alarm off. Just fell back to sleep. But that's okay. Meter's going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes here. Or if not, a minute. Sometime very soon. We'll talk to him about BC football, the ACC, as we're gearing up and getting closer and closer to week 0, which is great, which I believe kicks off. Let me just punch up the schedule here. It is not Wake, it's Georgia Tech and Notre Dame in Ireland. And I know Meters called the BC Notre Dame, or BC played in Ireland not too long ago as well. So, where is week 0? Where is week 0? Well, the first week, Saturday, August 24th. That's what it is. And that's week 0. Technically, August 24th. And that is, I'm looking when going through. God, there's some, Clemson, Georgia, that week? Wow. There's some unbelievable opening day games. Clemson, Georgia. I mean, that's national. Oh, that's the 31st. That's August 31st. But you look at August 31st, Angel, week 1 schedule. Clemson, Georgia, right out of the gate. I mean, now that we have 12 teams, it's not as important as long as you don't get blown out. But now you have 12 teams. Normally that would be like a playoff game, which I know has been other people's arguments over the years that we're going to lose that aspect of it. I disagree, because you lose a game like this, you would have to almost go undefeated the rest of the way to get in the college football playoff, which was only 4 teams. Now it's 12. So now you can lose a game like that and still recover.
And Meter's here.
John Meter Perel, I'm getting so excited. I was just about week 0 and week 1 of college football as we get ready. What are we, 6 Saturdays away? Something like that. 6 or 7 Saturdays away from the start of college football. I'm decked out on my Hurricane gear today. I couldn't help it, because I saw who Mario Cristobal landed, another great recruit. We'll get to that later on. We'll talk about BC as well, Meter, but you're getting jacked up for just the start of college football, which will begin on August 24th in a bunch of locations.
Yeah, I can't wait, Pete. I'm very excited to scout Florida State. They play Georgia Tech in Dublin on August 24th. You and I have talked about that Dublin trip. BC made that 8 years ago. That was fantastic. I can't wait. everyone says, oh, when I talk to people about it, friends of ours,
yep,
they say, oh, just enjoy the summer. You're ruining the summer. Who
ruining
cares?
what summer? Who cares? What are you, crazy?
That's what I say too. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't have both. You can't enjoy the summer and think about 7 weeks until college football. I don't understand that mindset. But I guess people feel like when football starts, especially in New England, the cold weather starts too. But September's the best month of the year, as you know, in this area. But yes, of course, I'm jacked up. Can't wait. I think it's going to be a great season. 12 teams in the playoff, well documented what that's going to mean. I've been reading about all these different schools, and the Big Ten is going to be loaded. The new broadcast deal is great for everybody. More games than ever. You'll be able to watch pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is a benefit.
Oh, there's no question about it. And I was just, we were just having this discussion with Angel. You look at week one, a game like Georgia Clemson, that could almost be, if it was if we just had the 14 playoff, which I hated, and not 12, that game could mean a lot. Now, you can lose that game as opposed to having to win out basically to get in the college football playoff. If you lost that game, now you can, afford to lose that game as long as you don't get clobbered or something like that, and still recover and get in the college football playoff. That's the beauty. I mean, right out of the gate, games like that, it's great stuff. And I will not be able to watch that game because I will be at the Swamp for the first time going see Miami. The Hurricanes play Florida in Gainesville. I've never been. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. Never been out there to the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and I'm looking forward to it. You must have been there before, right?
No, I've never been there.
That's right. BC hasn't played. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the experience. I cannot wait. It's a 3:30 game. It's going to be hot as hell. I'm sitting in the stands. I'm not in the press box. I'm with a bunch of friends. I think they're pretty good seats, and by that, I hope there's partial shade. But other than that, I don't care. I don't care how hot it is. I can't wait to go in that atmosphere. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a bucket list item to go there, just to sing Tom Petty, Pete. When they all sing that. Do you know that I think it was 43 years ago today, Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks released the single, one of your favorites?
Oh, really?
Yes. That was popped up on my social media feed today.
Stop Dragging My Heart Around?
Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Yes, exactly. 43 years ago, Pete.
I was 14.
It's insanity. Yes. Angel Martinez wasn't even born. I kid, Angel. I kid, of course. But no, I love that matchup, Pete. I mean, I was reading about Florida last night, actually, and the quarterback, you forget that Mers is still there.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge year for Billy Napier. I mean, I know it's been a short ride there for him, and he's had a lot of issues to clean up, but he's got to win this year. I mean, it's 8-9 or bust. He's got to figure that out. So I hope for his case he can, but that's, you hate to put too much emphasis on week one. You and I have said this in the past, but that's the beauty of college football. Every game's a playoff game. Georgia Clemson week one is going to be just delicious. I love that matchup.
Yeah, that's a noontime game. Actually, I will be able to watch that because that's a noontime game. And Miami and Florida doesn't play until 3:30 on ABC. But again, Florida's schedule, we talked about this before me. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, Miami, then they get Samford, then home against Texas A&M, at Mississippi State, home against UCF, at Tennessee, home against Kentucky, home against Georgia, at Texas, home against LSU, home against Mississippi, and at Florida State. If anyone could ever show me a tougher schedule like that in the history of college football, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that's right up there. It is rigorous. Welcome to the SEC, but there's got to be a pillow game in there, one or two.
Well, Samford game too is FCS school, so you're going to win that one.
That's your pillow, but
that's the only one. That's the only pillow on the schedule. Texas A&M, I don't know what Texas A&M is going to be about. That's not a pillow game. Certainly, Mississippi State is not going to be. UCF is not going to be. UCF always has a chip on their shoulder when they play. And remember, that rivalry wasn't going to happen. Remember, Danny White, the UCF AD, didn't want that series to happen when he was the AD. He didn't want it to happen. He didn't want to go to play Florida twice at their place and once at his place. He thought that was unfair. This is after they declared fake national championship that they didn't win a few years ago.
Danny White, the son of Kevin White, the old Duke AD, and also the old AD at Maine. So,
I did not know that. That's interesting
yes.
stuff. That's all right. Let's get into the your Boston College football team. My screen was blanking out. There we go. And Bill O'Brien, I know you had your weekly podcast, the third one, right, was just released. I saw
Yes.
it. And so how are things looking for the Eagles, expectations wise too?
I think expectations are high, as well they should be, especially more so this year. I think people are cautiously optimistic. They know that, clearly it's not Bill O'Brien's players, but he has a lot of talent. He knows that he's got a lot of talent offensively. He's got 4 pros on his offensive line, 4 guys that should play in the NFL. He's got 2 good backs, at least 2. The portal, or Trayshawn Ward's one of them, Gary, you remember from Florida State.
Yep.
And went to Kansas State last year. And Robichaux's another guy who played really well in the bowl game against SMU. So, and a quarterback in Castellanos, who's dynamic, is just if you can just get above 60% passing, he could be one of the best quarterbacks BC's ever had, at least statistically. So, a lot of good things. I think defensively, clearly they got to generate more pressure. If you watch any BC football in the past, you've seen that their pass rush has been pretty much non-existent. That can't happen. That has to happen. We'll see that week 1 against Florida State, against DJ, and if they can get any pressure against him, that will be a good tell for what's ahead. So overall, I think everybody's optimistic. Pete, Bill's great to deal with. I appreciate you pumping up the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Thank Angel Martinez as well for publicizing it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a kick for me because as I said to you last week, we're similar age and we have similar sensibilities. He grew up in Andover. I grew up in Weston. We grew up on the mean streets of Massachusetts.
I don't know how you did it. How'd you survive?
It was difficult. Every day was a tough day. It was really brutal.
Flowers delivered to your home every day. You never have to mow the lawn. You have to just watch out the window. I know you had a beautiful set of Duncan yo-yos. I mean, I don't know how you survived.
It was tough, Pete. It was tough. I had to deal with the help once in a while and tell them how I wanted my sheets.
My pillow. Don't tuck in. Untuck my bed.
Don't tuck it in, please. Yes, exactly.
So you would hit your intercom back in the day when you were a kid and just say,
"We had one.
Can you turn? Yeah, I did too. Can you turn the bed down, please?"
Yeah. Pete, I was the poorest kid in Weston. Okay, it wasn't that.
What'd you get for lunch money every day?
I didn't
$5, $10,
probably $5. Yeah, $5. $5 and a bag of Swedish fish. That's all I needed. But Robert Parrish grew up. I grew up around the corner from Robert Parrish. John Havlicek.
You called him Bob.
I call him Chief. The best was him riding his bicycle around my neighborhood. Looked like Kermit the Frog.
Well, he needs to get exercise. The guy's 6'11", almost 7 feet. You're riding a bicycle.
He was 7 feet 1/2 inch.
Hey, Big Z, Zdeno Chara lived in the North End. He used to ride his bike all the time around.
Oh, I know. I remember you used to bump into him on your way to get a cannoli.
Yeah.
At Jen Royals, The Table.
Well, she just got nominated again for in Boston Magazine for Best Meatball. So that place has been highly. I still haven't eaten. Next time I get up that way, we should all make a habit, go in there and
we have to
and cancel 4 times on purpose and then just walk in. See how that goes. I'm kidding.
See how that works out. Hey, she used to make me those meatballs when I worked with her at Boston Herald Radio. She'd bring them into the studio. And I was like, my mouth was watering. They are. She's like, these are the best. I'm telling you, these are the best. I just need to get them out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at her 10 years later.
Yeah, amazing. No, she's the best. She's a great chef. All right, John Midfield joined us. So let me ask you about still about this Boston College football team. The kid from, just in case something happens with Castellanos, God forbid, Grayson James. He's back. He's number 2, QB2 right now on the depth chart. Right, he's out of people around Florida should know who he is from FIU. What are you hearing about him? Anything?
I'm hearing that they like him. I know they like him a lot. They think he's going to be a heck of a player. Maybe he'll get some. I think he's going to get a lot of reps during fall ball. Might push Castellanos a little bit. Who knows? I'd be shocked if Castellanos is supplanted. I don't think that's happening, but it's good to have James there. They definitely need that. I think he's more of a traditional drop back kid. Saw him in the spring game, like what I saw, looked confident. A guy that can definitely step in if anything does happen. Clearly, every team needs a good backup. So I think he has a promising future. We'll just see how many reps he gets.
And what about the two wide receiver transfers, Bradley and McGowan, I think, from Texas Tech and Vanderbilt, respectively? Lots expected out of them?
Yeah, I mean, McGowan looks good. He's smaller, but he's got to give us some juice on returns, which they need. They haven't had that for years. Or actually, since Dave Flowers was there, it seems like years. And Bradley, of course, is 6'5", target that BC really hasn't had in the past. Looks like he's going to be terrific. I would expect him to have a big year. Definitely a red zone target. And don't forget Lewis Bond. He's one of the better receivers in the ACC coming back.
Yep.
They got a couple tight ends they're happy with. Morales, kid, all-time leading tight end at North Carolina. They got him in the portal. He's going to step in. They got another kid named Jeremiah Franklin behind him. So I think they're loaded at receiver, Pete.
Yep.
That's the good news. And O'Brien knows that to be successful in the ACC, you have got to increase their team speed. He's been trying to do that in the portal and obviously in recruiting. So that's always been the big if about BC. Are they fast enough?
I gotcha. And let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Big transfer out of Ohio State. Senior transfer Cameron Martinez is going to play strong safety for you guys. He's number one on the depth chart, I see. So that kind of, you go to Ohio State, they must have seen something, and whether he got unsatisfied with playing time over there or whatever, that's a pretty good get. And then Bryce Keats Brown from Georgia State at right corner. Big responsibilities for those two transfers starting in the backfield. I mean, secondary, defensive secondary.
Yeah, the secondary, it will be. There's some experience back there as well, so they don't have to necessarily make a huge impact right away, but I think they will. We didn't see Martinez in spring ball. He wasn't on campus yet. I know they're expecting big things. Started a few games at Ohio State. Didn't work out for him there, but I think that will be BC's gain. They got a kid named Bug Jones. Love the name Bug.
Bug, love that.
Love that. He was all over the place in the spring game. He was really good at the end of last year. They lost Elijah Jones, who was suspended 3 games at the end of last year. That hurt, but he ended up a third-round pick of the Cardinals, so he was an all-ACC corner. That's a big loss, but I think they're good back there. I think, again, it starts with the pass rush. I don't care how good you are in the defensive backfield. You need to get after quarterback. It's going to be a long day for those guys if BC doesn't have a pass rush. Linebackers have to get better too. Cam Arnold's coming back. Bryce Steele's coming back from a major illness. That's a great story. He's coming back.
Jalen Blackwell too.
Jalen Blackwell, yeah. So Crouch is another kid they love. They call him Bam. Davion Crouch. Bam! Just like they called you back in the day.
No, that was Emeril Lagasse. Bam!
One of your good friends.
He's a great guy.
New Bedford.
Yes, he is.
New Bedford, Pete. All the great ones are from New Bedford. Jerry Remy was from that area, of course.
The Tavares down that way. The Tavares are from New Bedford. Not down to Summers. He was from Dorchester. But, yeah, there's been, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. Still one of the great songs of all time.
Of course. But, Bam. So Bam Crouch will be good. I mean, look, again, there's depth, but there's not. Are they laden with depth? No. That's something that's going to be increased under the O'Brien leadership. Clearly, that needs to happen. But overall, I'm definitely confident the defense will be better.
All right, just switching on for a second. Oh, actually, let me ask you this question before I want to get your thoughts on what's going on up there with the Red Sox and ownership. But did you see who the Georgia Bulldogs signed yesterday?
I did not. Who they signed?
You might have seen him play or heard of him. He was supposed to play college basketball. Jazari Jackson, 6'11", 340 pounds. He was going to play big D1 basketball. He was at IMG Academy down here in Lauderdale. That is, and instead, Kirby Smart Jedi mind tricked into him, and why not to play college football? 6'11". He had, I guess, he had scholarship offers in middle school, but for
I was
football,
going to say maybe out of the crib.
But grew, so he decided to go towards basketball. He picked Georgia over Florida State, Florida, Mississippi State, Arkansas. I guess he's 20 years old. He's going to play this year. He says he's going to play 20 or 30 snaps, which I think is crazy. Not a game. He said for the year. Then he said, I'll concentrate on my second. Oh, please. If that guy's not starting and playing the entire game within the first 4 games, I'll be shocked. 6'11", 340 pounds.
Now, is he going to be a tight end or is he going to be
offensive tackle?
Of course.
Offensive tackle. Yeah, I know. Well, maybe he could play. He could probably play anything.
He could play anything. Has there been a larger offensive tackle?
There, according to ESPN Stats and Info, is talking about this. He'll be the 4th Division I player listed at 6'11" since 2017. The second among active players. He joins Jacksonville State offensive lineman Tom Hadery. And according to Pro Football Reference data, the NFL Scouting Combine has hosted only 2 players of over 6'9" since 2000. That's former Georgia offensive lineman Dennis Rowland and current Detroit Lions offensive tackle Dan Skipper. How about that? This is just unbelievable.
Wow. That is just a lot of beef, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
The height is that's crazy. I mean, talk about being awkward, though.
He played AAU ball with Bronny James, spent the first 2 years of high school at Florida's IMG Academy before moving to Overtime Elite. He won a championship in each of his 3 seasons. He averaged 12 points and 7.5 rebounds in the final season of the program. And he also played with lottery picks Alex Sarr, Rob Dillingham, and Tyler Smith.
Yeah. I was going to say those. I know those kids all went to IMG.
Yeah.
That's going to be an incredible watch to see how he can thrive or maybe fizzle out. But the good news for him is if he averaged 12 points a game, he might be the Lakers' second-round pick next year. So he's clearly better than Bronny James.
Oh, please. Again, it'll be somebody finally on ESPN admitted it that, after signing all that stuff, because we've been talking about the Lakers are still they're a play-in tournament game, a 9th or 10th seed at best. But as somebody finally admitted on ESPN, but we'll be talking about it because it's the Lakers. Well, you can talk about it. I won't be. I know what they are. They're a sucky team. 10th place. I think J.J. Redick is already coming off as a big-time Duke a-hole. He's never going to make it 4 years. The fact that he's not coaching in the summer league, in my opinion, and others, is stupid, Meter. And he's going to get what he deserves. There's no way in hell that guy makes it 4 years at that organization. No way.
He's given up his podcast, though.
Oh, what sacrifices.
What a concession.
This is why people hate Duke, because he always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. And
it's that arrogance factor. And it is hard to swallow. I mean, I'm already on Lakers overload and we're in July.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that's not the case. I hope they just forget them and let them go 37 and 45.
That's about right.
If that.
Yeah.
And do we really need Bronny James first summer league? It's 2 for 9 in 22 minutes. Do we really need that?
Oh, the worst part is how about the people that paid for the second game and he got sick or he had for cautionary reasons. He didn't play.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yep. All right. Moving on to Michael Silverman had a piece in the Boston Globe. Over the holiday weekend, John Henry spoke at length and in detail about why and how FSG, Fenway Sports Group, got into business with the PGA Tour. When it came to speaking about the Red Sox, he declined. I have had it. I mean, everybody else has had it. And when Buster Olney came out before the game against the Yankees on Sunday in the pregame show and said the Red Sox were undecided about what they're going to do, they're going to be a riot if they don't do the right thing here. And at least, even if it's a fugazi attempt to go for something here, whether they get a right-handed pitcher or a right-handed bat, starting pitcher and a right-handed batter at the deadline, all hell's going to break loose. They are in it. It's a fun team to watch. That was like a playoff series with the Yankees over the weekend. It's fantastic. Rafael Devers is channeling his day with 16 home runs and batting 450 something against the Yankees in his last 10 games. I just don't understand the complacency of this organization. I really don't, Meter. It pisses me off to no end.
Yeah, I think maybe he's perplexed about what they should do. I think they felt like coming into this year, Henry, that is, coming into this year, they felt like they clearly weren't a playoff team. I think this has surprised them, despite the fact that Sam Kennedy says they underachieved, which is crazy. They clearly have overachieved. I think they are going to make a move, Pete. I definitely think the competitiveness, maybe people talk about this. Our friend Rob Bradford talks about this with Craig Breslow, Sean McAdam. Oh, he's an ex-athlete. He's an ex-pitcher. He's competitive. He wants to win. He knows what it means in the clubhouse. He knows what it means for the team culture. He knows what it means to give them a boost. So I hope they go out and get a pitcher, at least one. They need two. Go get yourself a second baseman. They don't have a second baseman. If Cassis comes back, fine, but they could use a first baseman as well. So there's obviously needs. I'm totally with you. They're definitely in it. I love watching them. Definitely 2021 vibes watching this team, the team that went to the ALCS.
Yep.
I think they can make a run if they supplement. They got. I said on my show at WEI this Sunday, I said, for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at the Red Sox schedule and I'm saying, hey, that'd be a good game to go to. They're playing Kansas City this weekend, and I want to go to the game Sunday. You know what? Let's go. It's one of those things where you and I used to do that in our former jobs. We'd say, hey, Fenway is a destination. We know that, but maybe it's going to be more of a destination for Red Sox fans like me and you, and less for Royals fans in the next couple months.
Well, I know somebody wanted to say hi. We only have a couple seconds here left, Meter, but I know that one of your dear friends, and I'm now working with him, he lives down the street from me, Paul Kelly, says hello.
PK, he is the man. I love Paul Kelly.
Yep. He's doing
Paul Kelly, I did not know that he was in your luxury neighborhood, Pete.
Just started working together the last couple of weeks. It was right down the street. So next time you can stay over his house and run up a $10,000 water bill. I'm just kidding. All right, Meter. Thanks.
I will do that, actually.
Meter, all the best to you and your significant other and your family and everything else. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
All right, Pete. Best to you and Angel, and we'll talk to you when the mint's on the pillow at your house.
I don't like mints. I prefer Chunkies. Anyway, or a nice Twix.
Hey, your lovely wife left candy on the pillow. That was
I know she did. I know she did. I know.
That was great.
You left
Elaine, take a bow.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Take care. All right, John Meter Perrell. Quick break, Angel, because coming up and at the bottom of the hour, real quick, is going to be Joe Zagacki, the longtime play-by-play voice of the Miami Hurricanes. Can't wait to chat with him as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
All right, welcome back. Final segment, Pete Sheppard Show here. Man, oh man, on the Coastal Sports Network. My next guest, especially if you're from in Florida, you know him. 35th year, I believe, he's going into the voice of all things Miami Hurricanes in every sport, just about, including tetherball, is the one and only legendary Joe Zagacki joining me this morning. Senor Joseph, good morning, and thanks for taking a few. How are you?
I'm good, Pete. How are you? Hope your summer's going well.
It is going extremely well. It goes better and better every day when I see all these recruits coming in, not only for this season, but for next year. Since June 18th, I mean, Mario Cristobal doing his thing, waving his magic wand, and I am very, very impressed, and I'm hoping that he's putting the fear of God into a lot of other teams, not just in the ACC, but the country. I love the direction which this program is going in. They just secured that kid, S from Hawaii. We played in Nevada. As you know, SJ Fetiuli, the 10th best player, according to ESPN, coming in next year's class. But that's just one of many, Joe. How's he doing this?
Well, I think, Mario's a great recruiter, charismatic guy. Parents really like him. Has put together a good coaching staff of guys that relate to recruits. There's a lot to offer at the University of Miami. People want to live in the past and the 5 championships, but parents, they want to know, what are you doing for me now and in the future? And you get a great education, if that's so important to players and their parents. Coral Gables, Miami, a great spot to spend your college career. Great opportunity to play against really good teams, good competition. And, I think that he's just going after the very best players, not only locally, but nationally. And I think that's been really important to be able to cast that net wide. I've said that for a long time.
Yep.
For some reason, starting around 2008 or 9, people down here got caught up with oh, we've got to recruit every kid in Dayton, Broward County.
Mhm.
There are great players everywhere. And you know what great players want to do is play with each other. And they want to have diversity in their locker room from all around the country. And that's what Mario Cristobal has been able to do. Great players want to play with other great players because they know that's going to bring the best out of them.
And also, let's talk a little bit too about the coaching staff, his assistant coaches Mario has assembled, because you're hearing a lot about offensive line coach Alex Mirabal and how influential he is in getting picks like SJ to come to Miami.
Yeah, Mirabal he's a great coach, but more than anything, he's a teacher. That's the way he was. His first job was as a teacher. He was a high school teacher, taught Columbus High School. So Mirabal approaches coaching very much from a teacher's perspective. I think players are very comfortable with him. He's very technically sound. He always has the player's best interest at hand. He's always researching and studying and passing that on to his players. And the other thing is Mario and Alex Mirabal know the importance of building a team inside out. And the other thing, for years, Pete, Miami was undersized. I don't know how they got that way, but they did. And it used to crack me up when I would see kids say, yeah, I'm being recruited by Alabama. And I would look at their size and say, well, no, you're not. Because Alabama was always recruiting to a profile. And that's what Mario Cristobal does with Mirabal, especially on the offensive line. They're going to be massive this year. They're going to be massive in the future. And football is a big person sport. And Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal recognize that.
Well, I watched the inter-squad game. I try not to get too carried away during inter-squad games. I watch a lot of them, the ACC and the SEC, because I just love college football. Cam Ward was pretty freaking impressive. I try not to get crazy. 19 of 24, 330 yards in that game. I know he's a good quarterback. Seen him play many times in college, but he seems to be the perfect fit for this football team. Do you agree?
Yeah, because they need somebody that's who's dynamic at that position. Somebody that is a natural quarterback that understands leadership, but really just understands how the game is played and what happens when the defense throws stuff at you and doesn't panic or get confused and can make a play when things break down. At 33 combined touchdowns last year, 25 touchdown passes, ran for 8 others, threw only 7 interceptions. That's been the big bugaboo for Miami. Look what's happened in the last 2 years. 47 turnovers in the last 2 years. You can't win that way. Last year they had 14 interceptions. The only team that I know that was able to turn the ball over that many times and win a championship was the 1979 Pittsburgh Steelers. They turned it over 62 times, and they were able to win. At the college level, you can't do that. So Cam Ward, I think, is going to be a guy that protects the ball. There's a lot has been made about he has fumbled the ball in the pocket, seems to have been able to get to him and maybe knock the ball away. So he's got to get better at that. But he had 7 300-yard games a year ago. He's coming from, which is now the dissolved Pac-12, but played against great competition. And so I don't think you have to worry about him slowing the game down. I think the game is already slow to him, and he plays fast, makes good decisions. Now, the big question is going to be, this kind of where I think gets into Miami and Florida a little bit. Cam Ward's going to have a new center, Zach Carpenter. They've never played together. Damian Martinez, new running back. They've never played together. He does have Restrepo and Isaiah Horton, Jacoby George, but they brought a receiver in from Houston, so they've never played together. The challenge is going to be, they start on July 31st, kick off August 31st. They got to bring that together in a hurry. I mean, that's got to come together really fast. Now, yes, they're having player-led practices right now, but all this stuff has to come together at a high level game one. There's no margin for error.
I was going to ask you about Carpenter because I think it's people, a lot of fans just overlook it, the chemistry between the center and the quarterback. Now, he came from the Big Ten, right? Michigan and Indiana, I believe, the senior transfer.
He came from Indiana. He's played 5 years of college football. He's 300 pounds. I think he's a guy that understands the offense and the calls and get everybody in the right spot and all of those things. The difference between him and Matt Lee was just, an animal, tenacious at that position. And I don't know if Zach, we saw him in spring football. We'll have to wait and see. But we'll find out right away against the Gators. You can bet the Gators defensively, one of the first things they're going to do in that game is to test the interior of the Miami offensive line, go right after Zach Carpenter. I feel pretty good about the right guard, Inez Cooper. We'll see how it plays out at left guard for Miami.
Which coach you think is under more pressure? I mean, game one is so huge, and Miami has a tough schedule, but my God, Joe, Florida Gators schedule, I've never seen anything like it. Show me a tougher schedule in the history of college football, and I'll give you $1 million. I've never seen anything like it. But the Canes, right now, early favorites, Joe, 2.5-point favorite on the road in a hostile environment, and I'm glad to say it's going to be my first time I'm at the Swamp. I've never been there. I'll be sitting in the stands with some buddies, But which coach do you think is under more pressure to win this game?
Yeah, I think they're probably under the equal amount of pressure. Billy Napier, he lost 5 in a row last year. I mean, that's going. He's got a tall mountain to climb. Lost 5 in a row, and I think in those 5 losses, their defense gave up like 35 points a game. So he's had to rebuild his defense. Offensively, you come back with Graham Mertz and Johnson in the backfield. 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. Not great at wide receiver, but Wilson is a really dynamic player that Miami will have to account for. I would say that he and Mario are under about the same amount of pressure. Expectations for both programs are always the same, and both programs are always weighted down by the weight of the past. So I would say they're pretty equal.
Let's talk about the Hurricanes defense as well. In the starting 11, looks like at least about half of them are senior and junior transfers. So what do you like about the defense on the whole, especially the starters?
Well, earlier you mentioned the spring game. And if I look back at the spring game, I remember going into that, and my concern was, well, gee, Miami's got to kind of fix their front 7. And they got some issues at safety. You lost James Williams and Cam Kitchens, an All-American. You don't just automatically replace those guys. So I think they have 4 or 5 guys that they think can get the job done back there. Jaden Harris, Markeith Williams, Zaquan Patterson was a 5-star recruit out of Chaminade. But the defensive line, since spring football ended, has changed dramatically. So when camp opens July 31st, probably the first place I'll go is to the defensive line. You got the kid in from Michigan State, kid in from Tennessee. They go along with Ruben Bain and Mesidor. They should be a lot better on the defensive line. That is if the 2 transfers that come in play at the same level they did in the Big Ten and in the SEC. If Ruben Bain elevates his game from a year ago, and if Mesidor can actually play, because he's been injured too much. And so is Mesidor going to be one of those guys that says, I've got a lot to prove this year, or is he going to go on cruise control and think that he can coast through the season and get himself into the NFL? We need a Mesidor that played in West Virginia. And Miami needs all those 4 guys. If those 4 guys play at an All-American level, Miami could have a hell of a team. But a lot is riding on what they get out of that defensive line. That includes C.J. Clark from North Carolina State, and then Marley Cook, where they could play maybe a lesser role from Middle Tennessee. And then you have a defensive end they brought in from Marshall, and then a couple of freshmen, defensive tackles that are a really high level. So I think they've got some safety in numbers there, but they need them to play at a great level. They need them. Listen, the SEC, right? What is it? It's a line of scrimmage league. Probably my first key to the Miami-Florida game is going to be it's an SEC game. Miami's defensive line has to play at that level.
Is there more not in Miami, but around the country, a more underappreciated talent than Andres Borregales, the kicker. I mean, I was so glad he didn't go in the draft. I mean, he's always huge. I mean, you can count the misses on one hand, it seems, every single year. For his whole career. But how big is it to have a big time program like Miami to have the best kicker in the country, in my opinion?
Well, he hit 22 of 26 last year. He's got along at 55 in his career, hit one from 51 last season. Usually makes the chip shot kicks, will make the tough kick as well. How important is it? Okay, let's go back in the last couple of years. What's happened to Miami? 2018, coming off the Mark Richt big season.
Yep.
Right? You know what one of their biggest problems in 2018 was? They couldn't punt the ball. They had no punter. They had Fiegels in the LSU game. He shanked a couple.
Oh, that was horrible.
LSU great field position. And then the rest of the season, he couldn't punt. I've never seen anything like it.
And the LSU game was opening game. I remember that was awful.
Opening game.
Yep.
We got to the point where in the middle of the year, they put a walk-on punter in the game and had him do the rugby-style punt and just hit ground balls and had the ball roll. They couldn't punt. The next year, here comes Manny Diaz. He fixed the punter, but then we couldn't punt. I couldn't kick. Couldn't find a field goal kicker. They missed every chip shot. They used 3 field goal kickers. Couldn't make a field goal. Cost them the Georgia Tech game. It probably cost them 2 or 3 games that season. So now they finally got it shored up with Borregales and Dylan Joyce. And you've got to be good in all 3 phases. Now the next phase, you got to be good at offense, defense, and special teams. Kicking game is good. I'd like them to find somebody that can return a punt or a kickoff and give them great field position.
No question. Speaking with Joe Zagacki, 35th year going into the voice of the Miami Hurricanes. You do basketball and baseball as well. But how are you feeling? I mean, how excited are you? 35th year, Joe. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. So far, so good. It's almost the middle of July, so you get a little antsy right about now, trying to sort it out. I think the biggest challenge this year for probably every broadcaster is who the hell's on these teams? So many guys change, and you want to do your early prep. And I think the transfer portal is closed right now, but I'm still a little unclear if teams can still make any kind of tweaks to their roster when training camp opens up. And I just think the way the roster changes now in all these sports is I don't know. I think it's on one hand it can be fun. On the other hand, it's a challenge. Basketball, Miami has 13 players, 10 new players. So that's the new way of the world right now. And you asked earlier about pressure, more on Mario, more on Billy Napier. 30 years ago, you would say neither guy going into his 3rd year would have any pressure. But now, because of the transfer portal, everybody expects their teams to change like that. Don't win one year, get rid of everybody. Bring in a whole new team. And you can do that. Every team's got a salary cap, I think. So it's no secret that Miami's been pretty aggressive with their salary cap, which I think has helped in recruiting. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Before, they were playing with one arm tied behind their back because of the SEC. Well, SEC doesn't like the new rules, and Miami's not playing with one arm tied behind their back anymore.
No, it's great points. Just a couple more things as far as, we talked about nibbling the transfer portal, but opening week, not week 0. Well, week 0 also. I mean, but, Florida State playing in Dublin against Georgia Tech. You're going to be Georgia Tech awake. You're going to be watching that. But the game,
Yellow Jackets,
Georgia Tech and Florida State. So we'll all have our eyes on that if you follow the ACC, obviously. But the game before yours, the game on August 31st, Georgia Clemson, noontime. Now, I know you're the consummate professional. You're going to be preparing, and hopefully you have all your cards and the lineups will be up and everything else. But I mean, everybody on the planet is going to be glued to that game, Georgia Clemson, right before Miami and Florida, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, from an ACC standpoint, you'd like to see Clemson win that game. And I think we got the. It's funny. ACC's we could probably do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
You got Clemson and Florida State, doing their own thing, which could lead to the demise of the ACC. But as it stands right now, you kind of need Clemson to win that game and Miami to beat Florida. You need the ACC to be great because they need to be more attractive. It's a little mind-boggling that the ACC isn't as attractive as it should be, quite frankly, because Miami and Florida State haven't played that well in the last 15 years. And you can throw Virginia Tech in there as well. And that's just the way it is. Now, I could make the argument that the ACC hasn't really done a whole lot to help Florida State or Miami. And there are small things they could have done along the way to help those programs. You could also say Clemson was the smartest of all of them, who basically said 15 years ago, you know what, this is a basketball conference. This is what they care about. The hell with that. We're going all in on football. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. They put a lot of money into football. I think the ACC was kind of hoping that Florida State and Miami would be great and just ride their coattails.
Yeah.
And that Miami and Florida State would always be great. But when the SEC started pouring money in to all of their teams, ACC didn't follow suit and kind of left Miami and Florida State out there hanging. This doesn't answer your question about Clemson and Georgia. You got me on another tangent.
That's okay.
But,
I do it all the time.
We need the ACC to be great. Otherwise, it's not going to survive. And Miami wants to be great in football and basketball right now because if it does fall apart, they need somebody else to pick them up, probably the Big Ten. Now, back to your game. Clemson, great challenge for Clemson, Pete. Did not go into the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. And everybody's criticizing Dabo Swinney for that. And I'm interested to see how it works out because it's just like the NFL. He's saying, I'm going to win with homegrown talent. I don't need free agents. And people, for some reason, have been very critical of that. We'll see. I joked about the Pittsburgh Steelers turning the ball over 62 times in 1979.
We're going to get to that.
You know what else they did that? You know what else they did that year?
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
They won. Yeah, and every player on the roster was drafted.
Yeah,
they didn't have one player coming from another, another team or a trade. So Georgia's gone into the transfer portal. Georgia's the gold standard of recruiting.
Did you see who they got? That 6'11" kid, that Jazari Jackson, 6'11", 340 pounds. He's going to play this year. Right. Oh my God!
So they got great skilled players. Clemson's problem the last couple of years has been their quarterback play hasn't been as good. Klubik comes back, hasn't been as steady, hasn't been as dynamic. This is what happens when you lose a first-round guy. Everybody thinks, you're just going to replace, first-round players. Offensive line hasn't been quite as steady, and their receivers haven't been just as great as before. Now, maybe they will be. Defensively, I think they were pretty good last year. Now, they lost a couple of guys in their secondary. It should be a great game. Georgia, I imagine, is the favorite in that one, right?
I believe they're small favorite. I have their small
favorite. Clemson needs to win that game, and much like Miami, Clemson's biggest problem the last 2 years has been self-inflicted wounds. They've just turned the ball over at a high rate and killed themselves.
Joe, before I let you go, I must call you out on one thing. The disrespect you have shown for Vince Ferragamo. Oh, did we lose Joe? Shoot. I just had a funny little, oh no. Hopefully he'll come back. I had a funny story to relate to him about the 79 Steelers and when they went on to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl that year. Oh, Joe. Oh, let me see. Hang on. Did I get a text from I lost you. Try and refresh, right?
Yep. You can try that.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hello.
Hello. There you are. I was just going to make a little joke, but you talked about the '79 Steelers as we end the conversation. Thanks, Joe, so much. Your disrespect for Vince Ferragamo is really coming through. I mean, how dare you, sir? Now, you know what's funny about that season? Oh, we lost him again. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Well, the show's coming to an end anyway, but let's see if we can try one more time to refresh and get him back.
Yeah. Sometimes too, if you end up if you're on your laptop, a lot of people forget too to plug in their power cord because it obviously when you're doing a show like this, a lot of times it will pull a lot from your processor off your PC. So yeah, hopefully he'll come back before the end of the show. Oh, he's coming back. Here he is.
Oh, let's try one more time. Hi, Joe. You back?
All right, sorry about that. We'll try one more.
We have one more. If I get disconnected, thank you so much again. In case I forget to, oh, there we go. All right. What I was going to say is, Angel, it's funny because after the Steelers beat the Rams in that Super Bowl back in 1979, the movie Heaven Can Wait came out. Great movie with Warren Beatty, and Julie Christie and Diane Cannon and what's his name, John. What's his name? Great actor. Good, not John. I forget. I think he's passed away. Anyway, and then in the Super Bowl in the movie was the Rams and the Steelers, and the Rams won because Warren Beatty's soul got put into the quarterback's body. William Jarrett, I believe. Remember, he's in the stretch and the wheel him off, and obviously he pops up and leads the Rams to a Super Bowl title. Anyway. Just a funny observation by me. All right, Angel. Great job as always. You'll be back tomorrow, right? You and Q will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, both of us should be back tomorrow. Let me switch things up over here for a second. But yeah, both of us should be back tomorrow. I have the final tweaks I have to make here. And I apologize to you guys. I know normally we roll one show into the next. But yeah, I got to make some final tweaks within the software here and a couple other things. And then so I can give my own undivided attention to everyone to make sure to put on a good program. Because the worst thing is to have 50 million things in your mind and then you're staring at the camera like, what was I about to say? So yeah. After tomorrow, we should be back to copacetic.
And working on getting you some help as well behind the scenes. So hopefully that will work out in the next few days or so. No question. Hey, thanks everybody for checking out the show. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Yes, Lou Maloney overslept. He apologized profusely. He'll be joining tomorrow only via phone at 8:30 because he'll be on the road driving. But he's one guest we'll have tomorrow as well. And I will keep you all posted. But this has been awesome. Great show today. Thanks again to John Meade-Perrell. Thanks to Joe Zagacki. Thanks to Angel Martinez. And thanks to all of you for checking us out and retweeting and doing all that stuff. You guys are tremendous. The response we've gotten just in the last week is ridiculous. And it's been fantastic. And I know Paul Kelly's listening. He's coming back. Thanks, Paul, for all that you have done so far. Great stuff. So with that being said, that's going to do it for the Pete Sheppard Show. But if you missed any part of it, it's be up on all the various video platforms on Twitter, X, on my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV. We thank for them, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and Sports Radio 1029. Joey B says, great show, guys. Thank you. Trevor says, what up, Pete? What up, everybody? Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday. And Angel, tomorrow I'm going to have a new laptop just for the show.
Yay!
Hey, Hercules.
Wait, do I have it?
Hey! Yes, absolutely fantastic.
Here you go.
All right. Like Tinkerbell, I'm out of here. Back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. It's the Pete Sheppard Show here, always Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 on the Coastal Sports Network. See you. Right.